She suddenly shook her head and said, "Sorry, I mistook you for the young god lord." She suddenly shook her head and said, "Sorry, I mistook you for the young god lord." Then she bowed. "Yen, Yen, thanks Qian Bei for saving my life. This is my brother Yen Jindong." That male cultivator also came quickly and said, "I greet Qian Bei." Yi Emo checked their power. Both of them were body condensation state, tertiary stage. He wondered how they came here. The sister was dressed like a married woman. She wasn't very pretty, but she wasn't ugly either. Her brother's face seemed wild but innocent. He didn't speak much. Yi Emo nodded. "Go recover first. I have some things to ask later." Zhou Yushuang and Yu Chan had the least injuries. Yu Chan wanted to talk to Su Jingwen, but saw Su Jingwen was by Yi Mo's side and was hesitant. Su Jingwen and Yi Mo didn't wait for long before the rest of the people all came over. Yen seemed prettier after changing a set of clothes. She walked up to Yi Mo and said carefully, "Qian Bei, ask what you like." Yi Mo waved his hand. "Sister Yen, I'm not very old. Just call me Yi Mo. I'm not used to being called Qian Bei." Yen said carefully, "Yes, Brother Yi." She didn't dare to call Yi Mo by his name. In the cultivation realm, the difference between cultivation levels was very strict. Yi Mo didn't keep fussing with this matter and asked, "Where are we?" Tang Mengrao and them also came over to listen. Clearly, they didn't know where this place was either. Yen quickly said, "Brother Yi, this place is called God Beast Mountain Range. It has a lot of spirit herbs. The precious spirit herbs outside are just ordinary things here." God Beast Mountain Range? Yi Mo looked at Tang Mengrao, but she shook her head. "I don't know this place too. I've never heard of this place in North Far State." "Is this place not North Far State?" Su Jingwen called out in shock. Yi Mo was shook. Such a powerful teleportation formation. Just where was this teleportation formation leading to? Hearing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. In North Far State, it was good since he had Blue Moon. But if this was outside of Luo, Yu continent, then it was bad. Hearing this, Yen looked at Yi Mo in shock. "Qian, Brother Yi, you guys came from North Far State? You crossed the Heartless Sea?" Hearing this, Yi Mo breathed easy. She knew about the Heartless Sea. She knew about North Far State. This meant that they were still on Luo Yu continent. Yi Mo nodded. "Yes, we came from North Far State. We don't know this place." "Which state is this?" Yen knew Yi Mo was no ordinary person to have warded off the spirit beasts. She quickly said, "Brother Yi, we're at the God Beast Mountain Range. There's a river opposite here called Abyssal River. It's boundless and endless. No one knows where it leads to. Of course, some people say it leads to the demon realm." Yi Mo frowned. "Demon land? I've heard of a demon prison, Forbidden Grounds." "But demon prison, Forbidden Grounds is in South Peace State. Is this South Peace State?" Yen quickly shook her head. "Brother Yi, I've also heard of South Peace State, but this place isn't South Peace State, it's West Extreme State." So they were in West Extreme State. Yi Mo nodded. This place was much closer to North Far State than South Peace State was. Hearing this, Tang Mengrao was very shocked. It was clearly impossible to cross the Heartless Sea with her power. She looked at Yi Mo. If Yi Mo wanted to go back, she wanted to ask Yi Mo to bring her back. Hearing this, Zhou Yushuang's master seemed overjoyed. West Extreme State was much better than North Far State to him. This place was abundant in spirit chi. Just looking at the abundant resources here, he wouldn't need to worry about cultivation resources. He never planned to go back to North Far State. "Wait, are you talking about land or prison?" Yi Mo felt things weren't right. Yen immediately replied, "Demon land. Opposite the Abyssal River is a forest. That forest is called Endless Forest. It said there are more high-level spirit herbs there than the God Beast Mountain Range." Where do you come from? Are there human cultivators here? I heard there are few human cultivators in the West Extreme State. Tang Mangrao asked some questions of her own. Yan Yan nodded. We come from West Cultivator City. It's a human cultivator city, no smaller than this place. Almost all the human cultivators go there to cultivate or trade. Su Jingwen was shocked. There's a city that big? Yes, rather than a city. It's more like a region that human cultivators live in. West Extreme State can be divided into 4 blocks. The first is where the spirit beasts dwell. This includes the God-Beast Mountain Range and Endless Forest. The second is West Cultivator City. The third is the Abyssal River, and last is the Demon Land, Yin Yin explained. Yi Mo didn't understand. That Abyssal River is only a few hundred kilometers wide. I can even scan to the other side with my spirit sense. How is the third block with the Demon Land? Yen shook her head. Brother Yi, you can't scan your spirit sense to the opposite side all the time. You saw there were a few hundred kilometers because you were probably at Landing Desert. When you really wanted to cross the Abyssal River, it would take longer than crossing the Heartless Sea. Usually, if it's not at a special place and time, you can't cross it. The special place is Landing Desert, and the special time is December, which is now. Then what is the Demon Land? Yi Mo asked. Yan answered. No one has been there. It said there's 2 paths there. One is through the Abyssal River, but no one who has gone in has survived or come out. The other way is through the Sand River. The Sand River is the 4th block in West Extreme State. It's the largest. No one can go to all parts of it. Many cultivators who go and get lost forever and never come out. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. This West Extreme State was too eerie. Then, if we want to leave West Extreme State, where do we go to get into the Heartless Sea? Tang Mangrao was worried about her sect. Yan said, if you want to go to the Heartless Sea, you must get back to the West Cultivator City. That's the only place near the Heartless Sea. Yi Mo nodded. Yen, let's go collect some spirit herbs and then go to West Cultivator City. By the way, what was that young god lord about? Why are you here? Yen quickly said, there are 3 god lords in this place and 1 young god lord. I thought you were the young god lord as you scared them away. But Sister Tang called you Yimon. She glanced at Su Jingwen and said, I heard the fiancé of the young god lord doesn't like him. She won't appear here with you like that. The young god lord cares about his fiancé a lot. He won't appear with another woman like this. We're at the God-Beast Mountain Range, but we're not inside the Forbidden Grounds. It's public that some cultivators sneak in here to pick spirit herbs, but there are too many high-level spirit beasts here, and most of them would be devoured. Then why do you dare to come in? Yi Mo frowned. Yan's face dimmed. It's because I have a little brother called Yan Jinshin. 30 years ago, he was ambushed and poisoned when he was in the West Cultivator City challenging the Heaven 36 domains. His bones softened and he can't cultivate unless he rebuilds his body or gets the antidote. Yan's face dimmed. It's because I have a little brother called Yan Jinshin. 30 years ago, he was ambushed and poisoned when he was in the West Cultivator City challenging the Heaven 36 domains. His bones softened and he can't cultivate unless he rebuilds his body or gets the antidote. You're looking for the Yixing vine? Yi Mo asked. Yan nodded. Yes, we don't dare to hope for body rebuilding herbs, but if we can find the Yixing vine, it would be much better. I wouldn't come here if it wasn't for that vine. I'm also going to dig for spirit herbs you can follow behind. It's up to your luck whether you can find it or not, Yi Mo immediately said. He didn't mind helping them casually. Thank you, Brother Yi. Yan immediately thanked and followed Yi Mo. Even Yan Jindong came up and thanked Yi Mo. If they didn't follow Yi Mo, it would be very hard for them to find the vine even though they came here. Yemo didn't ask anything more, and the group followed him, digging up spirit herbs as they talked. It was like they were in their own garden. No spirit beast dared to appear before them. Some spirit beast saw them come and quickly moved aside. However, although there were a lot of spirit herbs here, they were mostly level 6 and level 5. There were few level 7 and even less level 8. They never encountered the Yixing vine. As time went on, Yin Yen grew worried. She knew Yemo wouldn't be staying here forever. If Yemo felt he had enough spirit herbs and wanted to leave, it would be almost impossible for her to get the vine. Tang Meng Rao saw her expression and sighed. Yan Yen saved her and her disciple. She was grateful, so she said, "Martial sister Yen, what's the Heaven 36 domains your brother challenged?" Yan Yen heard this and immediately answered, "There are 3 famous places in West Cultivator City. The first is Life and Death Tower. The second is Xing Cultivator Association. The third is Heaven 36 domains. The 36 domains is the most famous. Almost all cultivators above body condensation state went there. The Heaven 36 domains is the best place for cultivators to cultivate their domain. It's suitable for even truth realization state, peak stage cultivators." Yemo heard this and also had some interest. His domain was in initial completion, but that was through his own learning and his battles with other people. He had never had a systematic knowledge of domain. No one had taught him. If there was a place like Heaven 36 domains to allow him to completely understand the notion of domain and then perfect it with his 3-birth chant, then his battle power would increase many folds. The shadow didn't hide. He was a disaster, transformation, state, peak stage, beast cultivator. He looked nervous when he saw Yemo come, but didn't fight. When he saw Yemo cross inside, his face changed and yelled, "Do you know you've come inside the God-Beast Mountain Range Forbidden Grounds? Those who come in are killed no matter what." If it wasn't for Yemo, he would have killed Yan Yen for coming in the Forbidden Grounds. Yemo knew this beast cultivator let Yan Yen have it easy, but to him such an attack was no different than killing her. He could stop Yan Yen and let her leave or wait for her to explain herself. If he didn't have top-grade pills, she would be no different than her brother. Yemo knew this beast cultivator let Yan Yen have it easy, but to him such an attack was no different than killing her. He could stop Yan Yen and let her leave or wait for her to explain herself. If he didn't have top-grade pills, she would be no different than her brother. "I just came here, so I don't know some god-beast forbidden grounds. But you hurt my friend. Should I give you a slap or do something else?" Yemo came in the forbidden grounds, but didn't attack immediately. The beast cultivator saw Yemo come in, but there was nothing he could do. To him, Yemo was a truth realization state cultivator. If he dared to attack first, he must be sick of living. "Qianbei, this is our God-Beast Mountain Range Forbidden Grounds. We didn't stop Qianbei from collecting spirit herbs outside, but if you still stay here, you'll be our mortal enemy." The beast cultivator knew that he was no match for Yemo, but guarding the Forbidden Grounds was his job. If he dared to retreat, he would be dead if he went back. He had sent for help, and now he could only wait. Yemo sneered. "I was never planning to go in the Forbidden Grounds, but you saw. My friend just wanted one spirit herb, and you injure her so gravely. Now I'll give you 2 options. One is to let me slap you, or let us go inside and collect spirit herbs for a day." Yemo was planning to just teach him a lesson and take away the Yixing vine, but after he came in, he saw there were much better spirit herbs here. The spirit chi was more than 10 times greater than outside. These beast cultivator really had a good place. There was no way he would let Yemo slap him, and letting them come in was more impossible. The disaster transformation state beast cultivator knew he couldn't win, but he still could only release his magic artifact. At this moment, that blue-haired man looked coldly at a beast cultivator knelt before him. He dares to enter the forbidden grounds. Yes, for real, he really came in, the beast cultivator said shakily. The blue-haired man, glared man, looked coldly at the two behind him. Mainyang, didn't you say he knew his position? Why did he come in? The woman wasn't too worried, she bowed. Third God, Lord. Since he came in by mistake, you only need to explain things to him. I think he would know what to do after seeing you. If he really wants to force his way in, I believe Third God, Lord, doesn't even need to attack. The man heard this and nodded. Okay, let's go see him together. Yi Mo saw the cultivator release his magic artifact and just wanted to blast him into the ground when he heard howling sounds. Half a minute later, dense groups of spirit beasts charged over. The area inside and outside the forbidden grounds were filled with spirit beasts. The lowest level spirit beasts were level 6, but most were level 8 and level 9. There were even 100 level 10 spirit beasts. Yu Chan and everyone else's face went pale. Even Yen was full of shock and regret. She regretted going in. Seeing this, Yi Mo stopped and waved to Su Jingwen and them outside for them to come in. But the spirit beast outside didn't charge in. They just surrounded the outside. Yi Mo looked at the disaster, transformation state, peak stage, beast, cultivator, and suddenly sneered. You want to see me cause carnage? Very well, I will show you. Then Yi Mo waved and multiple lightning arcs rained down. The spirit attraction trees were immediately destroyed and the place was a mess. Seeing the power of Yi Mo's lightning, the disaster transformation state, peak stage, beast, cultivator's face changed. Just when he wanted to say something, there was howling behind him. The disaster transformation state, cultivator's face dazed and showed a sliver of horror. He quickly bowed and stood on the side. As soon as he did, a level 10 peak ice leopard landed, and behind him were more than 10 disaster, transformation state, beast cultivator, and 2 truth, realization state, primary stage, beast cultivator. There were tens of level 10 spirit beasts, and there was a level 11 two-headed lion amongst them. They were all behind the level 10 peak ice leopard. A blue-haired man got off the leopard. He was also a beast cultivator and was truth realization state level 4. Yi Mo took a cold breath in. This form was too powerful. As soon as the beast cultivators came, the other spirit beasts and beast cultivators all stopped. There was a man and woman behind the blue-haired beast cultivator, and they followed closely as the beast cultivator walked towards Yi Mo. The beast cultivator studied Yi Mo, and his eyes spasmed. He couldn't see Yi Mo's power level. He was suspecting if Yi Mo's divine damnation before was immortal ascension, divine damnation. Usually, cultivators would immediately ascend into the immortal realm after the divine damnation, but some powerful cultivators can extend that time for at most a month. Third God, Lord Master. The disaster transformation state, beast, cultivator, said shakily. The blue-haired man waved his hand, and the disaster transformation state, peak stage, retreated to the side. That seductive-looking female, cultivator, walked up to Yi Mo and saluted with her fists. Friend, we've been giving you convenience. Why did you still come into our forbidden grounds? Our third God, Lord Master, is here. If you have no reason, then no matter what, our mountain range won't let you go. These words gave him enough face, but also gave them a way out. Yi Mo nodded and saluted with his fists to the blue-haired cultivator. I'm Yi Mo, I greet Third God Lord. The blue-haired cultivator also saluted with his fists, but didn't talk. Yi Mo said, I was passing by your sacred lands and saw the spirit herbs here were good, so I wanted to collect some low-level spirit herbs. My friend just saw a Yixing vine and wanted to pick it, but was heavily beaten. If I wasn't a pill master and had some pills, my friend would be long dead. Now you bring so many high spirit beasts here. Third God, Lord, do you want to have a battle? If so, I'm willing to accompany you till the end. Then Yimo's power rose and instantly swept over a radius of a few kilometers of radius. His state was in initial completion, and he knew the weakness of this third god, Lord, so he targeted that. The blue-haired cultivator was hesitating, but suddenly felt Yimo's power. His mind was shaken, and an opening was created. He was surprised if Yimo fought him now, he would have the lower hand for sure. Just his chi was this powerful. Clearly, he was at least truth, realization state, peak stage power. Such a powerful cultivator. He was no weaker than Big and Second Brother. Third God, Lord, immediately defended against this pressure with all his mind and saluted with his fists. So it's a misunderstanding. We have a lot of I Ching vines in the Forbidden Grounds. If Brother you wants them, just ask. It's simple, but just charging into our forbidden grounds like this is against our rules. Yimo saluted with his fists. Since it's a misunderstanding, then never mind. Sister Yen, collect the I Ching vine and let's go. Yimo saw there were so many spirit beasts here. And as for the Big and Second God Lords who hadn't appeared yet, he didn't need to fight them all. Ha ha! A laughter sounded. Who dares to collect spirit herbs here? Third God Lord, are you going to break the God-Beast Mountain Range's rules just because Great and Second God Lord aren't here? Or are you scared of people and don't dare to tell these human insects to piss off? A tall young man landed not far from the third God Lord. He didn't seem ugly, but his face was very dark. Hearing this, Yimo frowned. He wasn't going to follow up the matter of Yen being heavily injured, but someone wanted to stop them from getting even one I Ching vine. Young God Lord. The beast cultivators all bowed. The black-faced man looked at third God Lord in contempt and said to a truth realization state beast cultivator he brought, "Take those insects away." The third God Lord saw this and frowned. Just when he wanted to say something, he stopped when he heard the young God Lord was going to teach Yimo a lesson. He just closed his eyes and ignored the scorn of the young God Lord. The third God Lord saw this and frowned. Just when he wanted to say something, he stopped when he heard the young God Lord was going to teach Yimo a lesson. He just closed his eyes and ignored the scorn of the young God Lord. Yes, the truth realization state beast cultivator grabbed at Yimo with cultivation essence giant hand. He treated Yimo as a low-level cultivator. Yimo looked very young. Such a young human cultivator would be at most a hollow spirit state cultivator. Even the highest powered woman was only disaster transformation state level 8. Yimo saw this underestimating move and smirked. This was just a truth realization state level 1 beast cultivator. Even if he fought with him at full power, he might even be killed. But this guy still acted so cocky. Zisu was released instantly. Illusion Cloud Domain Shatterstrike. Yimo targeted the beast cultivator's underestimation of him. This way, he would make him suffer greatly in this blow, and thus he wouldn't be able to tell his power. Otherwise, he would have to run facing so many beast cultivators. Crack the truth realization state beast cultivator's cultivation essence giant hand immediately cracked and disappeared against Yimo's sword ray. However, Zisu didn't stop at all and sliced over at the domain's weakest point. Immediately, the beast cultivator's domain also dissipated. Seeing this, the beast cultivator was scared soulless. He was immediately about to release his defense magic artifact, but the space around him slowed down. At this instant, his body went cold. This cultivator broke his domain and controlled him with domain instead. Splurge Zisu slashed over the beast cultivator's chest, bringing a string of blood. The truth realization state beast cultivator flew out hundreds of meters before barely stopping. A deep gash stretched from his chest to his stomach. Blood kept trickling outside. The beast cultivator quickly ate a pill before looking at Yimo in shock. Yimo didn't chase him, but released 4 black lightning arcs. After 4 more explosions, the level 10 spirit beasts who went to grab Tang Meng Rao and then were sent flying back, charred. Yemo then looked back at the young god lord and waved his hand. An arm-thick lightning arc flew over. No, the third god lord saw Yemo casually beat a truth realization state, primary stage beast cultivator to heavy injury without any resistance. The other 4 level 10 spirit beasts really couldn't even last one move in front of him. If he was to slaughter, how many spirit beasts would die in the god-beast mountain ranges? He rejoiced that he didn't attack Yemo, but seeing Yemo use lightning arc against the young god lord, he was worried. If the young god lord was dead, then they would become mortal enemies. But it was too late. Yemo's lightning arc already flew over. A terrifying explosion sounded, blurring people's vision. After everything cleared, everyone saw a scared to the extreme young god lord. He didn't get killed, but a huge 10-meter rock before him was pulverized and some pebbles splashed onto his face, drawing some blood. Seeing this, the blue-haired beast cultivator stopped his words. Clearly, Yemo knew to control himself. Yemo walked up to that young god lord and patted his face. Young god lord master, the insect is still here. Are you going to capture me? That truth realization state beast cultivator pointed at Yemo in terror. Your truth realization state peak stage. Only a cultivator so much more powerful than him could instantly see the weakness of his domain and break it easily. He couldn't even resist at all. Yemo didn't answer him and acted contemptuous as he asked, "Did you know I let you live just then? That was on third god, Lord's account. If you dare to be so rude again, I won't let you go a second time." Hearing this, the third god lord immediately felt satisfied. That young god lord immediately came to scorn him, and now he offended this man and was only let go on his account. Your truth realization state peak stage cultivator. That young god lord looked at Yemo in shock. Yemo just sneered. "Do you believe I can crush you at any time?" That young god lord dazed for a moment and reacted. But it was impossible for him to show weakness in front of all those spirit beasts and beast cultivator. He was regretting coming here, but he said coldly, "You can kill me. If I, Liang Wulan, frown, I'm a bastard. I believe you can escape from here, but as long as you're still in West Extreme State, the God-Beast Mountain Range will get revenge for me. The hidden elder of ours will also help me." Yemo was truly shook this time. There was another hidden elder other than the 3 god lords? That hidden elder, without question, was truth realization state peak stage. Luckily, he didn't kill this young god lord on a whim. However, Yemo still patted his face. "Hidden elder? I'm not scared, but why would I stay in West Extreme State? I'm just passing by. I will be going back to South Peace State. If you have time, come find me at South Peace State. I'm waiting." Even if the spirit beasts here went to South Peace State, he wouldn't be scared in South Peace State. Hearing this, the young god lord fell silent. He was about to leave West Extreme State. He wouldn't be scared of any threats. Plus, South Peace State's cultivation level was no weaker than West Extreme State. The elder from here wouldn't get much good out of going to South Peace State. Plus, those elders wouldn't leave the mountain ranges. Seeing this, Yemo didn't keep scorning him. He walked up to that 3rd god lord and saluted with his fists. "Thank you, 3rd god lord." Then he signaled to Yan Yan. Seeing this, Yan Yan immediately reacted and knew Yemo was telling her to go dig the Yixing vine. No spirit beast nor beast cultivator stopped her this time. The 3rd god lord saluted with his fists. "Brother Yi, you're too polite. By the way, you said you were a pill master?" Hearing this, Yemo immediately realized that the 3rd god lord wanted to connect with him. They had a lot of spirit herbs. It was too good of a deal to use them to connect with him. Yemo said this before with this intention. He saw there were so many spirit herbs here untouched and knew there was few pill masters here. He nodded. Yes, but I'm not a pill master. I'm a level 8 pill king. If you need anything for me to do, I can help. The higher level he said he was, the more high-level spirit herbs they would be giving him. If he wasn't scared that this third god lord wanted him to concoct heaven-grade level 9 pills, he would be saying he was level 9 pill king. Yang Mengrao knew Yi Mo must have reached disaster transformation state. She knew his insane cultivation speed and ability to fight beyond his level. It had been less than a month, and Yi Mo reached disaster transformation state. Tang Mengrao was speechless. She didn't dare to imagine this despite knowing Yi Mo had 2 immortal crystals. What? You're a level 8 pill king. The third god, Lord Wadazed. He couldn't control his shock anymore. After 3 whole seconds, the third god lord was dazed and asked again, Brother Yi, you're really a level 8 pill king? After 3 whole seconds, the third god lord was dazed and asked again, Brother Yi, you're really a level 8 pill king? Yi Mo laughed. Are level 8 pill kings really rare? I can concoct for you on the spot. It was very rude to do that, so third god lord quickly waved his hand. No need, no need. I really didn't expect Brother Yi to be a level 8 pill king. That's magnificent. Then he rubbed his hands. Brother Yi, you know that we don't have a lot of things, but we have a lot of spirit herbs. However, we don't even have a level 1 pill king. How about, brother, ye come be our guest at God Lord Peak? I promise you will be happy. Even the beast cultivators behind him looked at Yi Mo with uncertainty and shock, but most were suspicious. Even the young god lord seemed in extreme disbelief. If he knew Yi Mo was level 8 pill king, he would give even 100 Yixing vines, much less one. Even in the Endless Forest and the West Cultivator City, pill kings were extremely rare, much less level 8 pill kings. They were sure Yi Mo was a truth realization state peak stage cultivator. If it wasn't a truth realization state peak stage cultivator, who would dare to say he was a level 8 pill king unless he never wanted to see the sun again. Although Yi Mo knew the third god lord didn't have any bad will, he had concerns bringing so many people to the god-beast mountain range. If he didn't go, it would be a waste. This third god lord must have a lot of high-level spirit herbs. Level 8 and level 9 spirit herbs were very useful to him now. He was a level 8 pill king, and if he wanted to reach level 9, he would need large amounts of level 9 spirit herbs to experiment with. The reason level 8, level 9 pill kings were so rare was mainly due to not having enough spirit herbs to practice on. He was disaster transformation state level 6, and if he didn't have enough cultivation resources, he might stay at this level for another 100 years. But if he had top-notch cultivation resources, such as large amounts of extreme grade spirit ranges or a few immortal crystals, he would be able to reach disaster transformation state peak stage quickly. Then he would need to concoct pills for reaching truth realization state. For that, he would need to be a level 9 pill king. Without question, even if there were level 9 pill kings on Luo Incontinent, he wouldn't be able to find them. He could only rely on himself. So, Yi Mo was truly interested in Third God Lord's invitation. Seeing Yi Mo's silence, Third God Lord suddenly woke up. Brother Yi, I was too rude. I'm Jia Huanjin, God Beast Mountain Range's Third God Lord. Then he said to the disaster transformation state peak stage beast cultivator guard, tell everyone to go. Do what they need to do. Brother Yi is our guest now. No one shall stop him. Yes. The beast cultivator answered and followed the order. Moments later, all those spirit beasts left. Seeing this, Yi Mo knew that the third god lord truly wanted to connect with him. Just when he wanted to agree, the third god lord said hesitantly, Brother Yi, would you be able to concoct the snow-sang pill? Yi Mo immediately asked, You have the level 8 spirit blue snow seed? Snow-sang pill was a heaven-grade level 7 pill. It was very hard to concoct. Ordinary level 8 pill kings would need to be careful. Its main purpose was to cure pill poison. However, no one could afford to use the pill as the main ingredient was blue snow seed. It was a level 8 spirit herb and was very rare. Theoretically, it should be a level 8 heaven-grade pill, but it had a special attribute. It couldn't be kept for long. It would only last for a year, and then it would melt like snow no matter what. Thus, the value of the pill was greatly reduced. You're indeed a level 8 pill king. This is great. Brother Yi, this is great. Third God Lord immediately said in surprise and joy. Yi Mo laughed to himself. If a level 8 pill king was confirmed like this, then there would be level 8 pill kings everywhere in South Peace State. Then, Third God Lord took out a blue snow seed and gave it to Yi Mo. Brother, please help me concoct a snow-sang pill. I need it desperately. He thought that Yi Mo didn't want to go to the God Lord Peak, so he took it out here. Seeing that Third God Lord didn't even use jade box to preserve the blue snow seed, Yi Mo was speechless. But he was happy that Third God Lord didn't tell him to keep going to the God Lord Peak. Seeing this, the young God Lord didn't leave immediately either. He looked over, wanting to see if Yi Mo could concoct a heaven-grade level 7 pill. Yi Mo set up a restriction, casually making the people around unable to see his methods. Then he took out Shun Known Cauldron and the Mist Lotus Heart Fire. The restriction he set up casually made the Third God Lord gaze his eyes out. The 2 beast cultivator behind him and the young God Lord were also dumbfounded. They could tell by that restriction that Yi Mo was at least a formation grandmaster. A formation grandmaster was a pill king too? Who dared to believe this? Yan already collected the I Ching vine when she saw Yi Mo's actions. She was dazed. She was a level 6 formation great master. She had spent a fortune to get that broken level 8 formation to stop the beast cultivators for nearly a month. Now, she realized her formation knowledge was nothing compared to Yi Mo's. Yi Mo had already melted the blue snow seed. Snow-sang pill was much harder to concoct than heaven-grade level 7 pills. But Yi Mo was a level 8 pill king, and in 8 minutes he was starting to condense the pill. His restriction stopped vision and spirit sense, but it didn't stop smell. A faint pill aroma spread out. When everyone smelled this, their minds were cleared and their bodies seemed to have lost impurities. Everyone knew that what disappeared wasn't impurities but pill poison. Just smelling the aroma could remove pill poison. What would happen if you ate the pill? The Third God Lord was shaking with excitement. That's right, it's this smell, it's this smell. The young God Lord's face was uncertain too. He also had the luck to get a snow-sang pill before. He could tell by the smell that it was indeed the snow-sang pill, but the smell was much purer than the one he got before. He finally realized why Third God Lord was so polite to Yi Mo. Yi Mo finished condensing the pill and used pill-pulling spells. Then he brought out 6 pure snow-white pills and put them into the jade bottle. Then Yi Mo removed the restriction. The desperate Third God King ran up to Yi Mo. Yi Mo passed the jade bottle over. The snow-sang pills are done, Brother Jiao. Have a look. See if they're up to your standard. Yes, yes. Third God Lord said before even opening the bottle. He desperately opened the bottle and saw 6 snow-white pills laying inside, and the joy on his face was inexpressible. The degree of whiteness represented the level of the pill. These pills didn't have a sliver of yellow and were pure white like snow. They were special grade snow-sang pills. These are special grade snow-white pills. After a long while, the Third God Lord exclaimed. He still couldn't believe he just got them. How many spirit stones would be needed to buy these? Yi Mo just gave them to him in merely 15 minutes. That young god lord didn't expect EMO to really be a level 8 pill king. He made 6 special grade snow sang pills in such a short time. Clearly, he was a top level 8 pill king, able to reach level 9 pill king at any time. That young god lord didn't expect EMO to really be a level 8 pill king. He made 6 special grade snow sang pills in such a short time. Clearly, he was a top level 8 pill king, able to reach level 9 pill king at any time. The third god lord could see this as well. After a long while, he woke up from his shock and joy. He quickly put away the pills and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, such powerful pill concoction skills. I believe you won't take long to reach level 9 pill king. You're the most talented pill king I've ever seen. Yi Mo smiled but didn't speak. He was thinking, the spirit herbs I need to reach level 9 pill king are on you. Hurry up and take them out. Brother Yi, Huanjin shamelessly want to invite Brother Yi to be a guest at our god, Lord Peak. I will treat you as the most honorable VIP, third god lord invited. Yi Mo long wanted to go after concocting the pills. The third god lord's head was simple, but Yi Mo didn't dare to underestimate the god beast mountain range. He was with Jingwen. What if something happened? Plus, that young god lord hated him. So Yi Mo saluted with his fists without hesitation. Thank you, third god lord, but I need to go. Seeing that Yi Mo was really going to go, the third god lord quickly took out a storage ring for Yi Mo. Brother, this is just a small gift. Hope you don't mind. He wanted Yi Mo to go to the god Lord Peak to collect spirit herbs himself. But now that Yi Mo was going to go, he could only give Yi Mo the spirit herbs he had on him. Yi Mo was waiting for this and took it. When he scanned his spirit sense in, his mouth spasmed. There were more than 50 level 9 spirit herbs and over 400 level 8 spirit herbs. Wealthy. This god beast mountain range was too wealthy. He just helped third god lord concoct a cauldron of snow sang pills. One could see that the great and second god lord would only be more wealthy. He even wanted to set up a stall here to concoct pills. However, Yi Mo was regretful to find there was no ice carrot or truth spirit grass here. Yi Mo thanked. Thank you, Brother Jiao. You gave me so many precious spirit herbs. Seeing Yi Mo take his things, the third god lord rejoiced. Brother Yi, I came out in a rush, so I didn't bring a lot of spirit herbs with me. Next time, you must come visit. I will give you more spirit herbs. Yi Mo couldn't tell him to go back and pick them up, so he answered, Okay, if I come next time, I will come visit. One of my friend's soul is poisoned. Would you be able to get an ice carrot? He needed it for truth carrot pill, of course, but he couldn't let them suspect his power level. As for truth spirit herb, he didn't say it as its only use was to concoct truth spirit pill. Ice carrot, third god lord frowned. Yi Mo could tell he didn't have it. It was much more precious than ordinary level 9 spirit herbs, and it was found only in icy lands. Just when Yi Mo wanted to say never mind, third god lord said, Brother Yi, come to my god Lord Peak in 3 months, and I will find a way for you. With this, Yi Mo nodded. If I am free in 3 months, I will come visit third god lord for sure. Then Yi Mo took out Blue Moon and let Su Jingwen and them go on before bidding farewell. Seeing this blue trail, the young god lord knew that even with the elder helping out, they wouldn't be able to keep this pill king. Eyeing Yi Mo off, third god lord rejoiced. Gaha, I'm quite lucky. Today I, Jiao Zhenhuan, connected with a master like this. Let's go back. The young god lord saw this, and his face was green. He looked in Yi Mo's direction for a while and left. Blue Moon followed Yan Yan's direction and left the god beast mountain range after 2 days. Even Blue Moon needed 2 days to leave here. Clearly the god beast mountain range was very large. He looked at Yan Yan and asked, How did you get so far into the god beast mountain range? Yan feared him a little after seeing all of Yi Mo's capabilities. She quickly answered, My brother and I went in 2 years ago, and we've been very careful. Only a month ago were we trapped by spirit beasts. So we used that formation to last till Brother Yi came. Yi Emo nodded. If they didn't run into him, they would be dead for sure. Blue Moon sped up even more after leaving the God-Beast mountain range. In just a week, Blue Moon neared an extremely long mountain range. Yen Yen said, "After this mountain range is the West Cultivator World, the West Cultivator City." Yi Emo nodded. After Blue Moon passed the mountain range, more human cultivators appeared. Those cultivators saw Blue Moon's speed and moved aside. Clearly it was a powerful Qianbei to be able to own such a flying magic artifact. 2 days later, Yi Emo saw a tall city gate with his spirit sense. There were the 2 words, West Cultivator. There was nothing else but that, not even any city walls. West Cultivator City is a city without walls. Brother Yi, it's best to change a flying magic artifact before going in, Yen Yen said. Yi Emo knew that since the West Cultivator City was on par with God-Beast Mountain Range, it wouldn't be a simple place. He was planning to change a magic artifact, so he let out a low-grade flying cultivation artifact. 8 minutes later, they arrived outside the city. There were a lot of cultivators going in and out. Some even had a bloody smell on them, clearly coming back from killing spirit beasts. As soon as they went in, Zhou Yushuang's master bid them farewell. He never planned on going back to North Far State. The West Cultivator City's spirit qi was extremely dense. It was the best option to cultivate here for them. Yen also came to bid farewell. They left behind a communication bead saying that after her brother recovered, they would come thank Yi Emo immediately. Seeing no one was around, Tang Mengrao asked, "Yi Emo, when are you going back to North Far State? I want to go back with you." Yi Emo nodded. She would have to go with him, or she would never get back to North Far State. He had no pressure crossing Heartless Sea to North Far State now. He was Disaster Transformation State Level 6 and had Blue Moon. He wasn't scared of Truth Realization State either. "Where do you want to go now? If it's not convenient, I can find a place to stay with you, Chan. Just tell us when you leave," Tang Mengrao said. Su Jingwen spoke. "It's fine, sect leader Tang. We can stay together and help each other." Tang Mengrao also wanted to follow Yi Emo. Hearing this, she immediately said, "That would be great." "Sister Jingwen, just call me Sister Tang now. We've gone through hardship together." Su Jingwen held Yi Emo's arm and smiled. "Sure, Sister Tang." Yi Emo didn't really mind Tang Mengrao following. His attention was on the cultivators here. He found that cultivators from this city were very ferocious and had a killing chi on them. Clearly, this was a place of survival of the fittest. "Let's go find a place to stay first. Then I'm going to check out Heaven 36 domains," Yi Emo said. Xing Cultivator Association, one of the 3 most famous places. Should we go have a look? Yu Chan pointed at a black tower sign and asked. They two didn't fight for long, and that body condensation state, level 3, lost an arm. The body condensation state, level 3, knew he had lost, so he threw his storage ring. When the body condensation state, level 6, got this, he didn't kill the body condensation state, level 3, and went inside for cultivation. Yi Emo shook his head and just wanted to leave when he saw the 2 sitting on the side also start fighting. The difference in power was too great. One was body condensation state, level 5, and another hollow spirit state. In half a minute, the hollow spirit state was killed, and the body condensation state took the storage ring like nothing had happened and sat down again. One low-level cultivator came to the scene rapidly to clean up and then soon left this place. Yi Emo found that you could fight here, but you couldn't sneak attack. You must challenge the cultivator even if they're in cultivation. Su Jingwen frowned too and held Yi Emo's hand. "This place is very bad, let's go." Yi Emo nodded. He had lost interest in this place. Wait. Before Yi Emo left, a disaster transformation state peak stage stopped Yi Emo. Emo looked at that cultivator coldly. That disaster transformation state peak stage looked at Tang Meng Rao and then Su Jingwen. Leave the necklace on you and your shoes behind, then you can go. Su Jingwen's face burst red and asked coldly, Why should I? The disaster transformation state frowned. If not for your friend, I would keep you as well. Piss off, Yi Emo said coldly. Yi Emo made 3 middle-grade cultivation artifacts, and Su Jingwen had 2. They were her necklace and shoes. The necklace was very pretty because Yi Emo added blue moon or to it. When the disaster transformation state heard Yi Emo's words, he immediately said coldly, You're asking to die. Then he sliced a dark yellow sword ray towards Yi Emo's head. This was indeed such a place. Yi Emo wasn't going to hold back. His cultivation essence splurged out with Zisu. Yi Emo was adamant on killing this disaster transformation state cultivator. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike brought a bloodthirsty purple ray over. A lot of people were watching this battle as this disaster transformation state peak stage cultivator was rather famous in the XIN Cultivator Association. That extremely vibrant purple sword ray caught people's attention even more. Soon, people realized Yi Emo was no ordinary person either. Seeing this, the disaster transformation state cultivator sneered and just wanted to attack faster when he realized he seemed to be buried in mud. The half-moon sword he sent out also slowed down. His domain melted like snow in the sun. Not good, it's a tough one. The disaster transformation state peak stages face changed. He was sure Yi Emo was at least truth realization state. He was asking to die, robbing a truth realization state cultivator. Qianbei Forg. A purple ray sliced across his forehead before he could even beg for mercy. An essence spirit sprouted out in worry, but before it could go far, the purple ray beamed up and melted it. Yi Emo copied that body condensation state cultivator and picked up a storage ring. As for the cultivation artifact armor the disaster transformation state had, Yi Emo wasn't interested at all. This square immediately fell dead silent. Some cultivators didn't even dare to look at Yi Emo's eyes. A disaster transformation state peak stage was killed instantly at this young man's hands, and not even his essence spirit got away. This was truth realization state for sure. Some cultivators looked at the dead body. The armor was broken, but it was still a middle-grade cultivation artifact armor. It was still very valuable. But Yi Emo was here, so no one dared to go up. Another low-level cultivator came rapidly. Seeing this, all the cultivators seemed disappointed. That cultivator rapidly dealt with the body. Before Yi Emo and them could leave, a green-robed, well-dressed lady came over and bowed to them before saying softly, Friends, our association leader invites you. If you're willing, I can lead the way. Everyone else showed eyes of envy hearing this. Yi Emo sort of understood the purpose of the XIN Cultivator Association. It was to provide spirit chi to cultivators, and when they found great talent or powerful cultivators, they would try to bring them in. But Yi Emo was uninterested in this. He waved his hand. No need. We still have things to do. Goodbye. Huh. The green-robed woman didn't expect Yi Emo would reject. This was the first time she encountered such situation. Everyone else was dazed too. There was an idiot like this. Masters, you really don't want to go. The green-robed woman didn't know what to say. Masters, you really don't want to go. The green-robed woman didn't know what to say. Yi Emo frowned and asked, Do we have to go? The woman could see Yi Emo's annoyance and quickly shook her head. No, no, please don't misunderstand. We, the XIN Cultivator Association, won't coerce cultivators. That's good. Then Yemo turned around and left with his group, following him. After a long while, Su Jingwen said, "This XIN Cultivator Association is too scary. You can kill and rob people without concern." Yemo knew that Su Jingwen wasn't used to the law of jungle in the cultivation realm. Tang Mengrao said that XIN Cultivator Association is probably an organization that is here to attract more cultivators to come. I think those who show excellence here are noticed and invited to join. Then they would give large amounts of cultivation resource to them. Yemo nodded and agreed. Yu Chan said, "Then if we don't go, will it be fine?" Yemo didn't answer her. He knew that since there were so many people going, there would be a way for the XIN Cultivator Association to attract them. "Let's go find a place to stay first. If possible, I want to leave here quickly," Su Jingwen said. "Okay, let's find a place to stay first." Yemo agreed. He had so many level 8 and level 9 spirit herbs, it was certain he was going to reach level 9 Pill King. Before he went back to North Far State, he needed to do 2 things: become a level 9 Pill King and find Truth Spirit Herbs or Ice Carrot. "He didn't want to come?" a middle-aged man asked in confusion. The green-robed woman stood before him. She bowed nervously. "Yes, association leader. He didn't want to come, and then he left. I asked around and realized they just came to West Cultivator City. They don't really understand our rules. If they knew, they would join us for sure." The middle-aged man didn't speak, but the man next to him inquired, "Should we go investigate them?" The middle-aged man waved his hand. "No need, he's probably a truth realization state, primary stage cultivator. Just as Lu Yi said, when he realizes the benefits of joining us, he will come even if he was truth realization state peak stage. There's no need to investigate him. A truth realization state peak stage is not much to us, but there's no need to get on his bad side due to this." "Yes," the other man replied. Yemo and them found a place to stay. Yemo had a lot of spirit stones, and he wasn't unwilling to spend them here. Shiyu Hotel was one of the largest hotels here. It was a top-grade, luxurious cultivator hotel. Yemo's 2 rooms were the most expensive ones in the hotel. One night cost 100,000 spirit stones. 1 month would cost 10 million. But the spirit chi here was extremely dense, and it had all sorts of facilities. The reason Yemo didn't care about spirit stones now was because if he made a few cultivation artifacts or pills, they would be worth large sums of spirit stones. Plus, top-grade spirit stones were of little use to him in cultivation. He didn't need to keep storing them. Even though the formations here were top-notch, Yemo still reset the formation in his room. He stayed with Su Jingwen while Tang Mengrao stayed with Yuchan. When they settled in, the first thing Yemo did was ask about the XIN Cultivator Association. The XIN Cultivator Association provided a cultivation place with dense spirit chi, the big hall Yemo saw. They also provided the Breakthrough Spirit Eye, which was the cultivation place with restrictions. These places were free to enter, but you must fight over it with people. Usually, high-level cultivators wouldn't look for trouble with low-level cultivators, as that would lower their score in the XIN Cultivator Association. But if the low-level cultivator offended high-level cultivator, then they could kill them easily. However, most of the people hid their power in the XIN Cultivator Association. If the difference wasn't too great, no one would know who was stronger. High levels could make low-level cultivators hand over something, but they couldn't check low-level cultivators' storage rings. The main purpose of cultivating outside was for the XIN Cultivator Association to notice you. If they did, they would invite you in, and your cultivation progress would be huge. The XIN Cultivator Association had absurd cultivation resources. If you joined them, you would be allocated large sums of cultivation resources and dense spirit chi cultivation homes. They also controlled many ancient ruins that you could excavate yourself. Whatever you got from there belonged to you. The cultivators inside the hall could challenge anyone. You could reject, but if you did, you wouldn't be allowed in there again. The Xian Cultivator Association would send a messenger based on your performance. The girls were divided into yellow, orange, red, green, aqua, blue, purple. The better performance you showed, the darker the color of the messenger who came. Realizing this, Yi Emo lost all interest for the Xian Cultivator Association. He was even unhappy. Only a green, robed messenger came to invite him. Yi Emo and them stayed inside for 3 days because Yi Emo had to concoct pills. Yi Emo was also worried the Xian Cultivator Association would come investigate him, but Yi Emo realized he thought too much. That's true, he only got invited by a green-robed messenger. They didn't even take him that seriously. On the 4th day, Yi Emo was planning to go to Heaven 36 Domains when the Yen siblings came over. Yi Mo saw they were fine and knew the Yi Xing vine had worked. The three thanked Yi Mo, and Yen Zihingshin wanted to lead Yi Mo to Heaven 36 Domains. According to Yen Jinshin was the youngest, but he seemed older than the big brother. Anyhow, Yi Mo agreed. Yi Mo didn't want Su Jingwen to go, but she insisted on going. After all, it was dangerous to try there. Tang Mengrao also wanted to go there to deepen her understanding of domains, so they just all went together. West Cultivator City was a strange city. The cultivator residential place, spirit farms, herb gardens, and mountain ranges were all joined together. The Heaven 36 domain was a few hundred kilometers from their hotel, but it was still in the city. There was no air restriction, so they arrived there soon. The place was a trial ground, and so Yi Mo thought there wouldn't be a lot of people like the South Peace State Trial Tablet Square. But when Yi Mo came here, he realized this place had formed a commercial district and a marketplace. There were shops everywhere. As soon as Yi Mo walked in, he heard a bleak voice. Brother Yin actually found the Yixing vine quite substantial. You can get up now, congratulations. Yen Jinshin heard this voice, and his face turned bad. He stared at that cultivator, asking coldly, Jin Qilong, did you conspire with people to harm me 30 years ago? This man sneered. Yen Jinshin, you need to be responsible for your words. I helped you out of goodwill, and yet you speak of me like this. If you dare to do so again, don't blame me for being rude. Yen pulled him when Yen Jinshin wanted to say something. Yen pulled him when Yen Jinshin wanted to say something. Yi Mo looked at this cultivator. He was body condensation state peak stage and was very skinny. However, his mouth was very big. The body condensation state looked contemptuously at Yen Jinshin, seeing that he said nothing more, but then smiled to Yi Mo. Friends, are you here to challenge the Heaven 36 domains? Yi Mo said casually, that's right. The big-mouthed cultivator had an even greater smile hearing this. You can come in through our place. I can assure you will be very happy. From our Shizhong tunnel, cultivators have the lowest injury rate and the highest rate of entering higher domains. Plus, you're Yen Jinshin's friends. I will take care of you. It was as though he was old friends with Yen Jinshin. Yi Mo looked at Yen Jinshin in confusion. He didn't understand what this big mouth said at all. Brother Yi, you don't know the situation of the Heaven domain? Yen Jinshin asked. Yi Mo nodded. Yes, I thought since it's a trial ground, then you can just go in. Do you need something special? This is the first time I've heard of this tunnel. The big-mouthed cultivator immediately realized it was Yi Mo's first time here, and quickly stopped Yen Jinshin from talking and said, It's your first time here. Then it's even better to come to our place. We will answer your questions precisely, and there will be someone dedicated to send you in. Since Yen Jinshin knew this, Yi Mo wasn't going to ask some stranger to explain this. To Yen Jinshin, Yi Mo was their savior. He wasn't going to let them get scammed, so he said to Yemo, "Brother Yi, how about we find a spirit rest tower, and I'll explain things to you?" Yemo wanted to nod, but that big-mouthed cultivator stopped Yen Jinshin again. "Yen Jinshin, you don't need to explain. We will accommodate your friend well." He didn't let Yen Jinshin speak at all. Yemo's face sunk immediately, and he said coldly, "Fuck off." That cultivator didn't seem to believe Yemo told him to fuck off. He reacted after a while and roared, "You dare to tell me to fuck off? You think you're tough because you have a disaster transformation state cultivator? You've got balls, very well." The big-mouthed cultivator sent a message and said coldly, "You're dead for sure. How dare you tell your grandpa to piss off in the heaven domain square?" He then glanced at Tang Mengrao and didn't dare to attack Yemo. Yemo was confused how this big-mouthed cultivator saw Tang Mengrao's power, but he wasn't going to be afraid of his threat. He looked at Yan Yan and asked, "Sister Yan, what would happen if you killed here?" Yan Yan was worried, but now that Yemo asked, she immediately remembered that Yemo was someone who could connect with Third God Lord. How could he be afraid of an overlord in Heaven Domain Square? She immediately answered, "There's a rule that if a low-level cultivator offends a top-level cultivator, you may kill them. But usually no one would do this, as someone who can take over a passage would be supported by someone powerful." She looked at Jin Qilong and carefully sent a sound transmission to Yemo. This Jin Qilong has a truth realization state level 3 for backup. Ordinary people don't dare to offend him. Yemo saw 2 disaster transformation state level 3 cultivators come over. Jin Qilong pointed cockily at Yemo. This man dared to tell our Shizhong Merchant Association to fuck off from Heaven Domain. Perhaps it's because he has a disaster transformation state as backup. The 2 disaster transformation state cultivator came and sealed off Tang Mengrao's directions for attack. One of the persons said to Jin Qilong, "Those who insult our Shizhong die." "Yes," Jin Qilong answered and released a black spiked whip magic artifact. Smashing it at Yemo, Yemo sneered. Jin Qiuilong was mere body condensation state power. He was no different than an anti-Yemo. Yemo just kicked without even using magic artifact. There was a bloodthirsty glare in Jin Qilong's eyes. He loved crushing those who dared to challenge him to pulp. He loved seeing the helpless moan of the person's essence spirit, and then he would crush them. That was his greatest enjoyment. No one dared to do anything to him due to 11 Zhong Merchant Association's power. But today he met Yemo. His whip slowed down in midair until it stopped moving completely. Jin Qilong had been here for 100 years, and seeing this, he immediately knew he was in Yemo's domain. He called out in shock, "You're a truth realization state, Qianbei." But before he finished, his feet landed on his chest. He wanted to dodge, but he couldn't. Even if he wanted to fall over, he couldn't. Thud, Jin Qilong flew up and was blasted into a bloody mist mid-air. Not even his essence spirit was left behind. The cultivators watching took in a cold breath. Those 2 people who stopped Tang Mengrao both looked at Yemo in shock. One said hesitantly, "You're really a truth realization state, Qianbei." Yemo said coldly, "Piss off. If you dare to stop me here again, don't blame me for smashing your Shizhong Merchant Association." Yemo realized you couldn't keep a low profile here. At this time, you needed to show your power. Only then would you earn respect. The 2 disaster transformation state level 9 heard this, and their face changed. They didn't dare to argue back. They were a mediocre merchant association. They had a lot of disaster transformation state cultivators, but only 1 truth realization state cultivator. They knew what sort of person Jin Qilong was, and clearly he offended this Qianbei. It was deserving for low-level cultivators to be killed if they offended high-level cultivators. Yemo saw these 2 were dazed for a long time and sneered. "What? Do I have to smash your Shizhong Merchant Association for you to piss off? Haha. Good. Good. My Shizhong Merchant Association needs young heroes like you to smash us. I, Meng Sha, admire a hero who does not succumb to dominant power. A coarse voice sounded, and then an extremely robust man appeared. His long hair flowed freely, making him seem more crude yet free. Yemo didn't know this cultivator, but he was Truth Realization State Level 3 already. Association Leader. The two Disaster Transformation State quickly came to greet this man. Yemo, I didn't know if this association leader was being sarcastic or not, but he was not afraid of a Truth Realization State Level 3. I'm Meng Sha. Friend, you just came to this city, right? I admire heroes like you. If you don't mind, please come have a sit in our Shizhong Spirit Rest Tower, Meng Sha said in a genuine tone. Yemo was confused. He just killed someone from them and said he was going to smash the Merchant Association. Yet this association leader was this polite to him. He had quite the big heart. No matter if this man really wanted to connect with him or not, he didn't want anything to do with him. The way this Merchant Association did things was very domineering. It was him this time. But if it had been some other cultivator, he would have probably been tortured to death by Jin Qilong. No matter if this man really wanted to connect with him or not, he didn't want anything to do with him. The way this Merchant Association did things was very domineering. It was him this time. But if it had been some other cultivator, he would have probably been tortured to death by Jin Qilong. Yemo didn't believe that Jin Qilong did this for so long, and this Meng Sha didn't know. From this, it was obvious that Meng Sha was no good man either. He was a Truth Realization State Level 3, so Yemo didn't want to offend him though. He didn't come reproaching him, so Yemo was happy to play dumb. He saluted with his fists. Thank you, Association Leader Meng. I'm still busy now. Yemo thought this man would politely arrange another time, but his face sunk and his power rose. A fiery red crescent magic artifact appeared above his head. He said coldly, "This means you're not going to give me face? I came to invite you personally." Then his killing intent burst out. Tang Meng Rao took a few steps back. Yemo saw this and was angered too. He just pulled out Zisu without bothering to say anything else. He hacked over with Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike. A purple ray sliced through the air and into Meng Sha's domain. Meng Sha thought that by scaring him, Yemo would succumb. He believed since Yemo was so young, he probably wasn't Truth Realization State. Even if he was at most Level 1. But Yemo wasn't scared of him at all. You have balls. Meng Sha was furious. In his view, he was already very polite and gave Yemo a lot of face by inviting him. How dare Yemo reject and attack him too? Before Zisu's purple ray fully activated, his magic artifact emitted a powerful red beam mixed with countless red killing intent that smashed at Zisu. Meng Sha thought that his killing intent could easily trap Yemo, and if Yemo was a little weak, this killing intent would churn Yemo to pieces. Crack the red killing intent and purple rays clashed together. It sounded like something had shattered. Meng Sha was shook. He immediately realized that Yemo was at least a Truth Realization State cultivator. Without hesitation, he immediately was about to release a defensive cauldron. But before he could, he heard shuffling sounds around him. Meng Sha's face changed drastically. He immediately knew that his domain was starting to break. The purple ray's power wasn't mitigated in the clash with his crescent magic artifact, but instead shattered his domain. Not good. This man was at least Truth Realization State middle stage. Meng Sha immediately wanted to retreat, but his momentum stopped as though he was bound. Meng Sha now immediately broke into a cold sweat. He realized that Yemo instantly built his domain at the same time. Meng Sha burned his essence blood like crazy. forcefully releasing his cauldron. He wanted to tell Yemo to stop, but he couldn't say a word. But before he could fully activate the cauldron, he saw the purple magic artifact change again. The purple ray that dispersed completely disappeared, and what took its place was a 10-meter-long purple beam. The beam was like the beautiful ray of dusk from the edge of heaven. Illusion Cloud Hua Mountain Strike, the rapid strike of no return. Yemo was long unhappy at Meng Sha acting like he was the boss of everyone, threatening him and inviting him whenever he wanted. The onlooking cultivators could only see purple beam and red killing chi. They couldn't see Yemo and Meng Sha's actions at all. Meng Sha was truth realization state level 3, so of course he wouldn't be mesmerized. Moments later, the beautiful purple ray came before him. In his shock, Meng Sha quickly used the cauldron to block the path. The purple ray instantly hacked the cauldron and brought a splash of blood. Meng Sha flew back a few hundred meters before stopping himself. The cauldron had been hacked in half, and a deep gash reached down from his left shoulder to his leg. He looked at Yemo in shock. He didn't dare to believe that in such a short time he had lost to this man. This cultivator seemed absurdly young. Even the most powerful cultivator in West Cultivator City couldn't render him a heavy injury in such a short time. With a clank, his crescent magic artifact landed at Yemo's feet. Yemo kicked, and that top-grade cultivation artifact was kicked aside 1 kilometer. He then looked dazedly at Meng Sha. "Do you have face?" An extremely valuable top-grade cultivation artifact was kicked away by Yemo like trash, but no one dared to pick that top-grade cultivation artifact up. This was Meng Sha's magic artifact. Just with what Yemo said, Meng Sha wouldn't have the face to stay in Heaven Domain Land. Yemo looked at Meng Sha contemptuously, but didn't keep attacking. He flung his hand, and Su landed on his back. Yemo didn't even put it into his storage ring and just hung it on his back like a mortal martial artist. Everyone knew that Yemo was exerting his dominance. If anyone dared to piss him off like Meng Sha, then this was the consequence. However, this was quite the effective method. Su Jingwen looked at the Baron's sword and suddenly whispered in Yemo's ear, "You really do look like a hero, like that Meng Sha said. I like this." Yemo's killing intent dispersed due to this, and he shook his head, saying to Yen Jinshin, who was dumbfounded, "Find a spirit rest tower and tell me about the rules here." "Yes, Yi, brother Yi." He realized now that his sister was right. Yemo was a truth realization state peak stage master. Seeing Yemo leave, Meng Sha then took a pill and ate it, stopping the bleeding on his chest. His extreme shock was still there. He knew that it was very simple for Yemo to kill him, but he let him go. The reason Yemo didn't kill Meng Sha was not because he was merciful, but because he didn't know what would happen if he killed a truth realization state cultivator here. If this attracted more powerful masters, he might not be able to beat them. Meng Sha was truth realization state level 3. He didn't understand much of domains. But what if a truth realization state, middle stage, or tertiary stage came? If his domain was in great completion, then he wouldn't be scared of truth realization state, tertiary stage masters anymore. After Yemo and them walked away a long while, Meng Sha summoned back his crescent, but his face was still very pale. He could feel his hands shaking. Who started this? Meng Sha looked coldly at the 2 disaster transformation state cultivators. It was Jin Qilong. He was already killed by that man. 1 disaster transformation state quickly said. Meng Sha asked expressionlessly, "Does Jin Qilong have a brother called Jin Qihu?" "Yes, association leader. The disaster transformation state," said shakily. "Kill him." Then Meng Sha walked without even looking at the 2. The spirit rest tower waiter saw Yemo and them come and quickly came to greet them. Without Yemo asking, he led them to the best room there. What is that heaven domain? Why is there a tunnel? Yemo asked. What is that heaven domain? Why is there a tunnel? Yemo asked. Yan Jinshin quickly replied. There was no passage before, but later there were a lot of cultivators here, so people set up 10 passages. If you wanted to go in there, you would have to go in through these passages. All of them charge you a price. The Shizhong passage is controlled by the Shizhong Merchant Association. The association leader is called Meng Sha. He's the truth realization state cultivator you fought before. Su Jingwen suddenly said, This is like a highway pay station. Yi Emo nodded. It was really like that indeed. It seemed Earth's people weren't the only ones to think of this method of earning money. Yan Yan said, Each time they charge 100k spirit stones per person. The competition is very high. My brother was harmed by Jin Qilong in that tunnel. Jin Qilong told him to go in and said if he couldn't get to the 10th domain, he wouldn't have to pay. If my brother couldn't pass, he would have to pay another 100k. My brother thought he would be able to go into the 10th domain, so he agreed. Yan looked unhappily at Yan Jinshin and continued, but at the time, someone followed my brother into the Heaven 36 domains. When my brother reached the 9th domain, he was suddenly ambushed. My brother quickly left the domain and survived, but we're sure that the person who ambushed my brother was Jin Qilong's friend. But even with evidence, we don't dare to do anything. She got up and bowed to Yi Emo. Thank you a lot, Brother Yi. Yi Emo knew she meant getting revenge for Yan Jinshin. He didn't mind. The only thing he was worried about was that Su Jingwen's safety wasn't assured when he went inside the heaven domain. He almost killed Meng Sha just then. Who knew if he would try to get revenge? Yi Emo thought for a moment and said to Su Jingwen, Jingwen, how about you go back first? When I come out of the heaven domain, I'll come find you. Tang Mengrao immediately knew what Yi Emo meant and asked, How about you go first, and after you come out, I'll go? Yan Yan knew what Yi Emo meant and quickly said, The heaven domain opens every day. There are still about 6 hours till it opens. Jin Gwen's sister doesn't need to go back if we go to the heaven domain observing hall. No one will dare to do anything. What's the observing hall? Yi Emo asked in confusion. Yan Yan replied, It's the place for cultivators to watch others' trial at the heaven domain. There's a huge screen formation. We can't see the exact situation inside, but we can see how many people are at each domain. Then, people will start betting spirit stones. There are luxurious rooms. No one is allowed to start trouble there, or they will be killed. Okay then, let's go there and book a luxurious room. Yi Emo immediately got up and said. After coming here, Yi Emo realized how big this was. There weren't a lot of cultivators here, but there were more than 1,000 people. Even so, this huge hall seemed quite empty. There was a huge projector formation at the top, showing 36 rings. There were only a few light spots on the rings ahead. Yan Yan explained, Those spots represent cultivators inside. If the spot disappears, it means that they came out or they were killed by the domain. If cultivators don't want to go to the next domain, they can go back a domain and will be teleported out. Yi Emo knew that it was free to watch here, but those luxurious rooms were very expensive. The most luxurious room costs 1 million top-grade spirit stones, but there was no time limit. The luxury came second, but the top-grade one not only had dense spirit chi, but also a top-grade defense formation. As soon as Yi Emo and them got up, a pretty girl greeted them. She probably knew what Yi Emo did and was very respectful to Yi Emo and them. When they went in the luxury room, they realized there was a small projector formation there. They didn't need to look at the projector formation below. Yi Emo set up another few defense formations before feeling assured to leave. Yan Yan stayed behind with Su Jingwen and Yu Chan Yan Jinshin, took Yi Emo and Tang Mengrao to the entrance. Because the rooms were only for girls, Yan Jindong went out to the hall to watch Yi Emo's progress. Perhaps those cultivators here knew of Yi-Mo's power, and thus no one dared to come up to them. When they were about to enter through the Tanshang entrance, the cultivators only then dared to come greet them. After Yan Jinxin left, Yi-Mo and Tang Mengrao paid 200k spirit stones and entered. Then they got a good look at the heaven domain. The heaven domain was immersed in a gray mist. Spirit sense couldn't scan in at all. When Yi-Mo and Tang Mengrao walked into the first domain, Yi-Mo immediately understood the meaning of the heaven domain. In here, space slowed down and there was a sliver of cultivation essence stirring. If the cultivators who came here couldn't defend against it, they might be killed by it. If you couldn't get used to here, your body would be torn apart. Yi-Mo could clearly feel the direction of the cultivation essence turning. It was pretty much teaching cultivators how to control the space and air around them with cultivation essence. This was indeed a trial place. The cultivation essence movement here was at a very low level. There was no domain, it was just a field. But if body condensation states could gradually learn this and the slowing of space, their understanding of domains would deepen. Yi-Mo was certain there would be more powerful spirit sense and cultivation essence simulated domain attacks. He couldn't wait. Yi-Mo felt the first domain was completely useless to him. He didn't disturb Tang Mengrao and went into the second domain. Yi-Mo felt this heaven domain was a huge 8-trigram disc, and if he walked to the center of the disc, he would be at the 36th domain. There was no distinct milestone for the first and second domains, but Yi-Mo could clearly feel the difference between the two. After taking that step, it was the second domain. Yi-Mo exclaimed at the prodigy who built this place. This was absolutely out of this world. Just how much power and how much talent did he have to build this unimaginable cultivation place? The second domain had more fierce cultivation essence waves and greater space impediments, but it still directed cultivators to understand about the formation of fields. Yi-Mo ignored it and just passed through the first 9 domains into the 10th. Coming here, Yi-Mo clearly felt the confinement of space. It was very hard to walk even a step. One mistake, and that space confinement would crush you. Yi-Mo knew this was a real domain before the space confinement could attack him. He attacked with Zissou. In a cracking sound, Zissou cracked the domain and an empty space appeared. Yi-Mo could use that to go into the 10th domain, but he didn't. He closed his eyes and waited for the domain to seal shut again before hacking out. With this, Yi-Mo nodded. Coming into the 11th domain, Yi-Mo understood that his previous understanding of domains was very narrow. A domain wasn't just a restriction of space around the opponent. It was more importantly to bind the opponent's cultivation essence and even spirit sense. Using a domain didn't necessarily need cultivation essence and spirit sense. Once a cultivator's understanding of domain reached a certain level, his will could form a new domain. If domain was birthed with will, one could easily master state, then he would be invincible. Perhaps even a disaster transformation state, level 1, would be able to kill a truth realization state cultivator. With the use of 3-birth chant, every time Yi-Mo went into another domain, he would feel different. He felt his domain was undergoing enormous change. He went into a state of enlightenment. He just kept moving forward and learning, completely forgetting the notion of time. 10th day, Tang Mengrao exited from the 17th domain. She felt this was the furthest she could go. When she reached into the watching stadium, she knew Yi-Mo was in the 23rd domain. On the 12th day, more and more people came as many of them learned someone went into the 25th domain. The last truth realization state, Qian Bei, only reached the 26th domain and came out. On the 15th day, the huge hall was full. Countless powerful beings and top-grade cultivators rushed here. Some cultivator had reached into the 27th domain. This was a very rare record. The entire West Cultivator City went crazy now. The reason entering the 27th domain would cause such a huge commotion was because all the cultivators here knew that every 9 domains were at completely different levels. The 9th and 10th domain were completely different. So is the 18th and 19th domain. You might be fine in the 18th domain, but not even be able to last a few seconds in the 19th domain. The reason entering the 27th domain would cause such a huge commotion was because all the cultivators here knew that every 9 domains were at completely different levels. The 9th and 10th domain were completely different. So is the 18th and 19th domain. You might be fine in the 18th domain, but not even be able to last a few seconds in the 19th domain. Now, someone was in the 27th domain. Everyone wanted to know if this person could go into the 28th domain. If he did, he would be the #1 master in West Cultivator City, or the cultivator with the greatest knowledge of domains. In the history of the Heaven domain, no one had passed the 30th domain. If this man could get into the 28th domain, he might be able to challenge the 30th domain. Because of this, those cultivators flocked to the observing palace. Those luxurious rooms were filled. Even those famous cultivators in the city had to squeeze in one room with some people. There was one top-grade room that no one went to squeeze in. It was said there were 4 cultivators inside, and all female, cultivator 2. However, no one dared to go in. Even the vice city, Lord Luo Yujin, didn't ask to go in. Everyone knew that the girls inside were the family of that cultivator. Who would risk disturbing the family and friends of a cultivator who could go into the Heaven domain's 27th domain? There was also news that this cultivator almost killed Shizhong Merchant Association's association leader Meng Sha before he went in. Eventually, the story became that the cultivator didn't even raise his hand and just used his cultivation essence to form a purple cultivation essence sword that heavily injured Meng Sha. Meng Sha was one of the 10 big, powerful people in Heaven domain. Just who was this being who could heavily injure him without moving his hand? This was beyond their imagination. Su Jingwen began to worry, seeing all these cultivators flock here. She thought that even with restrictions, their room wouldn't be able to stop all these powerful cultivators. Luckily, they worried too much. No one dared to come to their room or even knock. Tang Mengrao breathed easy. In North Far State, she was one of the big 3, but here she couldn't even be ranked. The 2 managers from the Shizhong Merchant Association were more powerful than her. There were countless cultivators who could kill her here. She felt ashamed to be called one of the big 3 in North Far State now. There were still more and more people coming. Everyone wanted to go watch inside. Eventually, the powerful beings here set up a transfer projection formation and finally eased up the squeeze. Cultivators had spirit sense, and so even if they weren't in the Heaven domain square, their spirit sense could see the progress on the screen. There was no projection formation at the square, but for Yi Mo, a huge projection formation was set up. Meng Sha was very worried now. He realized how dumb he was. He had annoyed a powerful cultivator like Yi Mo. If he had another chance, he would rather be a coward than try to show his power. It wasn't really losing face now, as it was an embarrassing losing to a powerful being who could reach the 27th domain. He was worried that powerful being would come out and look for his trouble. If that was the case, he would have nowhere to hide. He had a few truth realization state friends, but who would be willing to fight against this powerful being for him? Even he wouldn't himself. He sighed and could only sit down and yield to fate. His foundation was here. He couldn't leave at all. When Yiemo entered the 27th domain, he immediately felt that the space around him seemed to have turned into a swamp that he had sunk into. There were sharp sword rays everywhere in this swamp. One slight error, and he would be ripped and crushed. The space seemed to be constantly contorting, and he couldn't capture that rhythm. His domain quickly broke and shattered in this constantly changing space. That contorting space made Yiemo feel this was space disposition, not domain. But the next moment, he realized this was definitely no space disposition. This was still a type of domain. Luckily, those sword rays and the swamp didn't mix together, so he could struggle. Instantly, he formed his domain again. He wouldn't have been able to survive here if he didn't gain a new understanding of domain after passing the 26th domain. As soon as his domain formed, it was crushed again, but Yemo tried relentlessly. If it was some other cultivator, he might have retreated into the 26th domain. In fact, Yemo knew too that he could use Illusion Cloud Domain Shatterstrike to hack open the domain, so he could go into the 28th domain. But that way, he wouldn't be able to learn anything. In here, he had the time to attack, but in the 28th domain, he wouldn't even be able to use an attack. He also knew that every 9 domains represented a completely different level, so the 28th domain would be countless times more powerful than the 27th domain. Time passed as Yemo's domain kept getting crushed and reformed. As time went on, Yemo's domain could last longer and longer until it could completely defend against the domain here. But Yemo didn't go into the 28th domain now. He would rather go back to the 26th domain if he didn't have the confidence. Cultivation was important, but so was his life. So when his domain could completely defend against 27th domain, he started to expand out and attack. This idea came from the lightning sword. He learned his lightning sword by attacking the divine damnation with lightning. The method he used now was to use his own domain to attack the domain in here and feel the cultivation essence motion inside to improve his own domain. Time went on, and he could completely defend against the domain here and walk freely without trouble. However, he still couldn't attack the domain around him. Yemo didn't give up like this. How could he go to the 28th domain if he couldn't fight back against the 27th domain? When you fought someone, it wasn't enough just to block the opponent's domain. You needed to break your opponent's domain. He used Illusion Cloud Domain Shatterstrike to do this before, but now he wanted to use his own domain to tear apart the space around him. If he learned how to do this, his domain would immediately be near great completion. Even if he fought Truth Realization State, Tertiary Stage Masters, he might be able to win. There was heated discussion inside and outside the Heaven Domain Square because Yemo had stayed in the 27th domain for more than 3 days. According to his past progress, he wouldn't stay in one for more than 1 day. Soon, a new round of betting opened up. One side bet Yemo could enter the 28th domain. The other side said he would leave from the 27th domain. Master, those people are betting how many domains Marshal Uncle Yi can go into. Should we bet 2? Yu-chan saw the astonishing odds of going into the 36th domain. Master, those people are betting how many domains Marshal Uncle Yi can go into. Should we bet 2? Yu-chan saw the astonishing odds of going into the 36th domain. These odds didn't just include going into 28th domain now. There was the odds of going into 36th domain. The losing odds of going into 28th domain was 1 to 3. Quitting from 27th domain was 1 to 2. Going into 30th domain, the odds rose to 1 to 8. The losing odds of going into 36th domain was 1 to 100. Yan said, "If you want to bet, you can bet here. There's a place next to the projection formation. Just write what you want to bet on and place in your spirit stones. The spirit stones will be teleported away." Tang Mengrao nodded. "I'll give you 1,000,000 spirit stones. You can bet on what you like." Su Jingwen woke up and quickly took out a storage ring, passing it to Yu-chan. "Help me bet too." Yu-chan took the storage ring joyfully and asked, "Sister Jingwen, which one do you want to bet on?" Su Jingwen's mind clearly wasn't on this and said casually, "It doesn't matter, as long as you're betting on one that says Yemo will win." She wanted to give Yemo a little support through this indirect way. Seeing this, Yan also placed a bet. This was the 4th day Yemo was at the 27th domain. His domain could easily break the space dispositions and squeeze away, but it was still a little bit off from crushing the space domain. Yemo was disappointed. He was just a little bit off. So he just sat down and ran the 3-birth chant. Yemo let his domain slowly seep into this mock domain. Another 2 days later, Yi Mo felt something was wrong. The key concept of forming domain here was through one's own cultivation essence. This didn't seem wrong. All the cultivators' domains were formed like that. Yi Mo's domain before was formed like that too. But when Yi Mo used three-birth chant, the things he realized was completely different. Domain wasn't formed through cultivation essence. Those domains formed with cultivation essence were called fake domain. Real domains were a will state, a force. When the cultivator's force was formed, the domain would be born through will. As for using cultivation essence to form the contortions and even spirit sense, it was just a method of attack in your domain. When domain was perfected and the enemy was trapped in the domain, your cultivation essence can turn into a method of attack. Cultivation essence and spirit sense weren't used to form domain. It was a method of attack for the domain. Realizing this, Yi Mo woke up and suddenly got up. He squeezed away the domain around him and his cultivation essence expanded out. The locked space around him was completely shattered. Yi Mo was overjoyed. He didn't expect it to be so simple. He realized now that only now was his domain truly in initial completion. The domain he previously thought was in initial completion wasn't even the beginning. Not just him, but probably more than 90% of cultivators weren't even beginners in domain. However, Yi Mo felt suspicious of this place. Theoretically, this was a trial ground. It shouldn't be misleading cultivators like this. If he didn't have three-birth chant, even if he passed the 36th domain, he wouldn't be able to truly understand the notion of domains. Yi Mo wouldn't believe that the powerful being who set this place up was intentionally trying to mislead people. One explanation was that powerful cultivator didn't understand domains either, but then Yi Mo shook his head. If the person didn't understand domains, how could he set up this huge Heaven 36 domains? Plus, this place was indeed very helpful for cultivating domain. Even a fake domain was better than not understanding domain at all. Now that Yi Mo could easily break the domain here, he went into the 28th domain. Immediately, he felt like there were sharp beams pointing at him. The stir in space here was completely different than the 27th domain. In the 27th domain, space was space and the sword rays were sword rays. They were separate, allowing you to dodge them. But in the 28th domain, they were fused together. It was as though the place he was at wasn't space, but a place formed with countless pin-sized killing chi. It was present no matter where he went. The space distortions were more than 10 times stronger than the 27th domain. Yi Mo took a cold breath in. This was no trial grounds, but a slaughterhouse. If he didn't truly understand domains, he would be instantly killed the moment he came in here. He wouldn't even have the time to go into the golden page world. Even a truth realization state, peak stage, cultivator wouldn't be able to survive in the pinpoint space. The domain previously learned was completely useless here. Even if you formed your domain, it wouldn't last 1/100th of a second. Yi Mo didn't expect the difference to be this huge. Luckily, he knew what true domain was and instantly formed his domain. When the killing chi space pressured him, Yi Mo's cultivation essence, wind blades, and spirit sense blades also swept out. With a thud, Yi Mo's domain was crushed, but he also stopped the attack of this space. Yi Mo didn't continue trying to learn the space domain here. He felt this domain wasn't suitable for him. It wasn't right. But the space attack and mock domain attack was very good for him. He could use this opportunity to refine his newly learned domain. The cultivators watching saw that Spot had went into the 28th domain. There were shouts of joy for those who bet Yi Mo was going into 28th domain, but sighs from cultivators who lost. When Su Jingwen saw the dot finally go into the 28th domain, she breathed easy, but then immediately stared at the spot nervously. West Cultivator City, XIN Cultivator Association. That middle-aged man, who previously didn't care if Yi Mo joined the XIN Cultivator Association, now frowned. After a while he asked, You said that cultivator left here and went to the heaven domain, and is now in the 27th domain. The fatter cultivator in front of him just wanted to talk, but his communication bead lit up. He scanned with his spirit sense and immediately answered, "Yes, association leader, but the news we just received is that he's in the 28th domain now." That association leader got up immediately, and his face seemed a little strange. He walked a few steps and said, "I'm going there immediately." Then he said, "Jiliang, tell Elder Gong to prepare some gifts. If that cultivator comes out, we need to greet him immediately." Association leader, what level or gift should we prepare? Jiliang asked. The middle-aged man hesitated and said, "For someone like him, he won't take ordinary gifts seriously." He hesitated and said, "Bring that low-grade immortal artifact. Only something like that can touch him." Jiliang was dazed. "But, association leader, that's the only immortal artifact we have. It's the sect guarding." The association leader waved his hand. "We were already rude to him by just sending a green-robed messenger. If we do it again, this person will look down on us. A low-grade immortal artifact is precious, but if we can pull a 28th domain powerful being to join us, it would be very worth it." "Yes," Ji Liang agreed. Crack Yi Mo didn't use Zisu nor Illusion Cloud Domain Shatter Strike, but his domain had Cultivation Essence Wind Blades now. After countless trials, his domain finally shattered the simulated domain. Yi Mo realized that if he kept moving forward like this, his domain might really reach great completion by the 36th domain. He's entered the 29th domain. He's entered the 29th domain. The cultivators inside the Observe Palace exploded again. That spot went into 28th domain and just stayed for one day before going into the 29th domain. What shook them even more was that the spot stayed there for one day again and went into the 30th domain. Yi Mo went into the 30th domain in such a short time. The odds began to fall. At the 30th domain, Yi Mo completely ignored the special pressure and binding that could instantly kill truth realization state cultivators. He even closed his eyes after the 28th domain. He completely understood domain binding and attack. He was slowly combining his understanding of state and domain. Once he combined these two, Yi Mo felt this domain would have a skyrocketing increase in power. The conditions in the 30th domain were many times worse than the 28th domain. If he didn't have a completely different understanding of domain, he would be torn apart instantly even if his original domain was in great completion. Yi Mo shook his head after the 27th domain. This place was completely a slaughterhouse. It was impossible to even stay alive, much less learn domains in here. No wonder rarely anyone kept going after the 30th domain. Yi Mo began to progress faster and faster. On the 23rd day, he went into the 31st domain. On the 24th day, he went into the 32 RD domain. The betting completely stopped. Now, the spirit stones betting that Yi Mo would go into the 36th domain were enough to buy half the entire Heaven domain region. Although the Heaven domain region really wanted Yi Mo to come out now, there was nothing they could do. Su Jingwen saw that Yi Mo was faster and faster and finally breathed easy and relaxed. On the 28th day, Yi Mo went into the 35th domain. According to Yi Mo's idea, the 35th domain should have even more intense space distortions. He came in here and immediately expanded his domain, but what shook him was there was no movement nor space ripples here. It was just an ordinary place. Yi Mo reached his spirit sense out and found this place was indeed an empty domain. He shook his head. He just wanted to go into the 36th domain, but he felt something was wrong. There seemed to be a stealth formation here. If he wasn't a level 9 formation grandmaster, he wouldn't be able to see this at all. But even so, there was nothing he could do. The formation heart wasn't here. If he knew where the formation heart was, he would be able to go in. Yi Mo ignored this irrelevant formation and went into the 36th domain. As soon as he came in, he felt this place was different than the domains before. There were space bindings and space distortions, and the killing intent was strong too, but Yemo felt this was the real domain. Feeling the difference and similarities, Yemo frowned. Was it that for other cultivators, only the 36th domain was the place they could understand domain? But only in this place could he truly combine his state and domain. The news of Yemo going into the 36th domain spread like wildfire. Some cultivators who weren't in West Cultivator City even got the news. An absurd cultivator appeared in West Cultivator City, going into the 36th domain in 30 days. At this moment, cultivators didn't come to watch the projection formation, but to see who this cultivator who was first in history to get into the 36th domain was. Su Jingwen got up in joy. She thought Yemo would be coming out immediately. However, it was Yen Yen and Yu Chan who were the happiest. Tang Mengrao asked casually, "Which one did you bet on?" Yu Chan said happily, "I bet 1,000,000 that Marshall Uncle you would get into the 36th domain." Sister Yen bet 200K as well. Sister Jean Gwen bet the most. There were 10 million spirit stones in there, and I bet them all on the 36th domain. What? Even Su Jingwen was dazed. 10 million on a 1 to 100 odds? She would get 1 billion spirit stones. Even Yemo never had this many spirit stones. Just when Su Jingwen wanted to speak, she saw the spot disappear from the screen. With a rumble, a purple ray flashed. This was the first time Yemo used Su since the 28th domain. Su hacked out, and the illusion cloud domain shatter strike clashed with the surrounding space. He felt the space binding around him lighten. Yemo wiped some sweat. He thought this was all there was, but just when he fending off against the domain pressure, the space binding rapidly changed. The domain attack also changed completely. In such a short time, Yemo wasn't able to form his shattered domain again, so he could only hack out with Su. However, this strike only cracked open one crevice in the domain. Without that strike, Yemo wouldn't even be able to retreat. He was ambushed by the 36 domains. Yemo was shook, but he was more joyful. He finally found how to combine domain and state. At the same time, he learned another means of domain. It was right of him to come here indeed. After Su brought about that crack, he quickly reformed his domain again. This time he was ready. In the battle, Yemo learned more and more. The 36th domain was truly the place to learn domain. Eventually, Yemo could control the power of the domain. In his will, the domain changed in size direction. With a long howl, Yemo didn't even need to move his hand, and his domain expanded out. The surrounding space cracked again, and this moment of enlightenment came into his mind. Yemo knew his domain was in great completion. This was the real domain. At this moment, Yemo controlled the expansion of his domain, and the powerful space domain crippled like glass. Yemo was very happy. He didn't know why there would be this misleading thing in here, but that wasn't important. He didn't need to stay here anymore. Yemo knew in order to leave, he just needed to go back. Yemo turned to the 35th domain, but when he was there at the door, he found that the 35th domain completely disappeared. He couldn't feel the 35th domain anymore. Yemo frowned. There was only one possibility. It was caused by that formation. Yemo turned back. The heart of the formation wasn't in the 35th domain. It might be in the 36th domain. Yemo walked for a moment and came to the end of the 36th domain. Yemo didn't find any formation heart, but a new formation world appeared before him. Was there a 37th domain? Yemo didn't understand, but even if there was 37th domain, he wasn't scared. As soon as he came in, he didn't even have time to scan his spirit sense out, and he was covered in wounds. This terrifying killing intent wasn't something a cultivator of the cultivation realm could defend against. He went into his golden page world without hesitation. If he hesitated for a moment, he would die. As soon as Yi Mo got in the Golden Page world, blood shot out like arrows. Even Shadowless flew over, worriedly buzzing. As soon as Yi Mo got in the Golden Page world, blood shot out like arrows. Even Shadowless flew over, worriedly buzzing. Yi Mo ate a few pills before stopping the bleeding. For hours later, Yi Mo took off the broken cultivation artifact armor and washed himself. The most serious injury almost sliced his arm off. Yi Mo rejoiced. If it was sliced off, he wouldn't be able to get it back for sure. If he was just 10 milliseconds slower, he would be dead. This 37th domain wasn't a domain, it was a place to kill. Yi Mo was sure that any master from the cultivation realm who came would be dead for sure. There were some serious problems with this place. This place seemed to attract high-level cultivators here. The more powerful and the more talented cultivators were, the more easily they were killed here. This was because the more powerful you were, the greater understanding you had of domain, and thus you could go further. Thinking about this, Yi Mo shivered. According to this train of thought, Heaven 36 domain was set up just to kill prodigies. Why was it so? One day later, Yi Mo recovered and thought about this place carefully. The instant he came here, his domain was shattered by the space here, and his body was bound by the space. If it wasn't that his domain was in great completion, he would have been dead already. The brief instant that his domain stopped that binding allowed him to escape. Almost every inch of the space had fierce killing intent that was as powerful as a truth realization state, tertiary stage, cultivator's full-powered attack. Who could block this entire space filled with killing intent? Even if Chuji was here, he would be dead for sure. Even a cultivator who could rip open space wouldn't be able to get away in such a short time. Only immortals could escape. But would immortals come here? The more he thought about it, the greater Yi Mo's fright. Which bastard was this? He was so bleak. Yi Mo threw out a surveillance formation outside and saw an extremely terrifying space. Dense killing force hung densely in the air. Yi Mo knew that if any life came here, the killing intent would be triggered. This killing force existed in the form of light. Just how powerful space attack formation means were needed to set this up. How much spirit power was needed to power this? But soon, Yi Mo found that these killing force were just the tip of the iceberg. In this space, there were waves of space distortions. They were clearly invisible and an extreme type of space kill formation. Just these space ripples were enough to tear apart any cultivator. In the past 36 domains, the space distortions, pressure, and pulling weren't completely formed, so his domain could stop them. But here, they were all formed. This was just the killing force he could see. Just how much more invisible killing force existed here. Yi Mo didn't dare to imagine. In order to see more, Yi Mo threw out a few formation surveillance formations. They had no life force and thus weren't attacked. Yi Mo carefully moved his Golden Page world while throwing out surveillance formation. He really wanted to go back to the 36th domain, but it had also disappeared. His control of Golden Page world wasn't perfect, and thus he couldn't move rapidly. When the gold spot representing Yi Mo finally disappeared, the square and observer hall exploded. Many people thought Yi Mo was teleported out, but moments later, they knew Yi Mo wasn't teleported out. Thus, there was only one possibility. This cultivator was killed. Sighs of pity and happiness sounded. It wasn't good news that a cultivator like this died, but it wasn't bad news for some of these power factions here. The happiest was Meng Sha. He eased up and wiped his sweat. At the same time, he thought of Yi Mo's family and friends. Cruel glances beamed in his eyes. This man dared to insult him, now that he was dead. How could he let go of the people who came with him? He has never lost so much face before. In Su Jingwen's room, she thought that Yi Mo came out after the spot disappeared, but after a long while, she didn't see Yi Mo come for her. She felt something was wrong. Soon, there was news that Yi Mo died there. Even though Su Jingwen was nascent soul state level 7, she felt dizzy. Tang Mengrao quickly held her. She wanted to persuade Su Jingwen that Emo might not be in trouble, but even she knew that Emo was certainly in trouble. Seeing this, Yen came to comfort her. Sister Jingwen, why don't we wait for Emo at the entrance of the Heaven Domain? Su Jingwen shook her head. I agreed to Emo to not leave unless he came. Now that he isn't here, I'm not going to leave. I will wait for him here. Yen hesitated, but Tang Mengrao nodded. Jingwen is right, we can't leave. This room has no time limit. If we leave here, we'll be in danger. Yen wasn't dumb and almost immediately realized what Tang Mengrao meant. Everyone fell silent. No one wanted to talk at this moment. 3 days later, the place calmed down again. Those cultivators came and left quickly. It was, of course, very significant to reach the 36th domain. But so what if he didn't come out? No one cared about a dead cultivator. Yu Chan worried about Emo, but she was also worried about the spirit stones. No one spoke of the spirit stones, and she didn't dare to ask. It was as though they forgot people in here had bet. It was the 6th day, and Yen was talking with Su Jingwen when her face changed. She was about to rush out, but Tang Mengrao stopped her. Don't rush. Your brother is in the observing palace. That man won't dare to do anything to him. At the door to the observing palace, Yen Jinshin, who only had an arm and was covered in blood, rushed in. Before he could go upstairs, however, someone stopped him. The observing palace forbids fighting, but it's not a place for cultivators to avoid danger. Yen Jinshin ignored this cultivator and yelled to the 2nd floor. Don't leave here. Shizhong Merchant Association is waiting. They want to capture brother, Ye's wife. Yen Jindong, who was at the 1st level, quickly held Yen Jinshin and said with red eyes, It is the Shizhong Merchant Association. The cultivator ignored Yen Jindong and said to Yen Zihinshin again, Please leave. No fighting cultivators are allowed in here. Let him in. We have the most luxurious room air. Why can't he come in? Is there some limit on the number of people who can come in? Su Jingwen walked out, asking coldly. Let him in. We have the most luxurious room air. Why can't he come in? Is there some limit on the number of people who can come in? Su Jingwen walked out, asking coldly. That guard looked at Su Jingwen and then the luxurious room behind her and thought for a while before moving aside. Seeing this, Yen Jindong quickly helped his brother up. The 2 pursuers of Yen Jinshin looked coldly at him and then Su Jingwen and Tang Mengrao before sending news with their communication beads. Those cultivators outside just saw Su Jingwen and exclaimed, That cultivator's wife was so pretty. Jinshin, who did it? Is it Shizhong Merchant Association? Yen looked at the broken arm and asked angrily. Before Yen Jinshin said anything, a cultivator outside the hall door said coldly, You're right, it is the Shizhong Merchant Association. How can those who offended us roam freely? Then Yen saw the cultivator at the door. It was Meng Sha. Meng Sha saw Su Jingwen, who wasn't in the room, and suddenly grabbed at her. But his attack was immediately dispersed by another cultivation essence giant hand. Meng Sha saw a cultivator walk out of a room and saluted with his fists. Luo Vice City Lord, why are you doing this? They're just a few insects without backing. Luo Yujian was Truth Realization State Level 2, a little lower than Meng Sha. Luo Yujian smiled calmly. I admire the cultivator who went into the 36th domain. Plus this is the observing palace. Do you not know people can't fight here? Meng Sha's face looked bad. Even the palace lord didn't come out to stop me, yet you do. It's very astounding that you stayed here till now. Luo Yujian said slowly, You can ask the palace lord. If he allows fighting here, then pretend I said nothing, and you can do what you want. Meng Sha's tone calmed down. In that case, I'll give you some face, but I wonder how long you can stay here for. Su Jingwen knew now wasn't the time to stay outside, so she quickly ran inside the room. Even a cultivation essence giant hand wouldn't be able to reach in. She thanked Luo Yujian and went inside before sealing the formation. Luo Yujian saw this and said, I'm going now, but are you going to attack the room? If you do, I won't intervene. Then Luo Yujian walked out and disappeared. Meng Sha glared coldly at Su Jingwen's room, but didn't keep attacking. He said something to the two pursuers of Yan Jinxin and left. The two stayed at the door and didn't leave. Yi Mo stopped now. He saw a skeleton in the surveillance formation. The skeleton sat by a dried-up pond. There seemed to be some formation marks in the pond. The means were extremely advanced, but they weren't purposely hidden. Yi Mo saw that the endless killing chi here was caused by the space kill formation. After watching carefully, Yi Mo saw that there wasn't just one formation inside the pond. They were all very high-level space kill formations. Yi Mo knew he didn't have the ability to set up such formations yet. Soon, Yi Mo saw that there were two extreme grade spirit range, supplying the spirit power. These two supplies were separate, and they were part of an exchanging formation. The power supply would switch to another spirit range after a period of time. This way, the spirit range could digest more spirit chi, and thus, even after countless years, the space kill formation wouldn't be ineffective due to lack of spirit chi. But there was a flaw in this. The instant during the rotation of power supply, the space kill formation would pause momentarily. It was very brief, but very hard to grasp. That person had to be at least a top-grade formation grandmaster and be watching here constantly. Yi Mo knew if he could grasp this time, he could damage the unprotected formation heart instantly. Yi Mo started to calculate the period of spirit range rotation. The time he calculated scared him. It was 49 years for every rotation. Did he have to wait for 49 years here? He calculated more and got the result that the last rotation was 40 years ago. This meant he needed 9 years. He couldn't even wait for 9 months. In this formation, he could only stay in the golden page world. He wasn't able to break it. Yi Mo turned his eyes to the skeleton beside the pond. The head was looking down. Even in the golden page world, Yi Mo could feel the power and loneliness of the skeleton. Yi Mo sighed. Perhaps this person came to the 36 domains like him. He didn't have the golden page world and was a very significant cultivator to be able to reach here. It was a pity he wasn't able to leave. Yi Mo felt sympathy for this person. Yi Mo collected his feelings and then saw a jade slip next to the skeleton. Yi Mo moved the golden page world over and used a whole day before he took off the jade slip and the storage ring. Yi Mo scanned with spirit sense and saw there were just a few words. North Far states, Chu Xiaoyi was tricked at Heaven Domain. This domain is a trap. Chu Xiaoyi from North Far State? Yi Mo had never heard of this name, but Yi Mo knew since this cultivator could come here, this person must be very powerful, perhaps even more powerful than Chu Jiu, but this person wasn't famous. One could see there were powerful people all over the ancient cultivation realm. After removing the restrictions in the storage ring, Yi Mo saw at first glance that there were 7 immortal crystals. They were exactly the same as the ones he got in the All-Herb mountain range. Seeing this, Yi Mo took them immediately without noticing the 9 chipped key next to them. What time difference would be created using these 7 immortal crystals? Yi Mo made a timer with sand in a glass and put it outside the time formation disk. Then he put the 7 immortal crystals into the time formation disk without hesitation. They fit perfectly inside. The instant the time formation disk was activated, it ran crazy fast. Yi Mo couldn't feel the time formation disk inside it. He quickly closed his eyes and started cultivation. Yi Mo felt slivers of immortal qi seeping out, mixed with the spirit qi, from the extreme grade spirit range. It was extremely comfortable, and he felt his power was increasing rapidly. Yi Mo felt slivers of immortal qi seeping out mixed with the spirit qi from the extreme grade spirit range. It was extremely comfortable, and he felt his power was increasing rapidly. When Yi Mo felt the cultivation essence in his body rumble and the meridians broaden even more, he couldn't help letting out a howl. He was disaster transformation state level 7. Yi Mo rejoiced, feeling the powerful and rolling thunder-like cultivation essence in his body. Yi Mo forgot he was just testing the time formation disc and was shook. He forgot about time and cultivation. Thinking about this, Yi Mo quickly stopped the time formation disc and left. He had been inside the time formation disc for 3 months, but the one-day timer still had some sand inside. The ratio was around 100 to 1. This was far greater than 12 to 1 using extreme grade spirit range. Yi Mo quickly checked the 7 immortal crystals. It was a pity that the immortal crystals dimmed down around after just using them for 3 months' time. If he used these immortal crystals for cultivation, then he would be able to reach truth realization state middle stage for sure with truth carrot pill. But Yi Mo knew that he had to use them. He just hoped there would still be some left after using them in the time formation disc for 9 years. If he didn't have concerns, he would really want to cultivate here for 9 years. But Su Jingwen and them were waiting for him in the observing palace. Yi Mo controlled the golden page world to come to near the formation heart and threw in the time formation disc. The time formation disc landed perfectly, and then Yi Mo activated the time formation disc with formation flags. After the formation was activated, Yi Mo couldn't see the time formation disc anymore. He saw the time formation disc blur. According to his calculations, since the ratio was 1 to 100, he would need to wait about 32 days outside before the power supply would change. He would stop on the 31st day in case he missed the rotation. Seeing so much immortal qi being wasted, Yi Mo's heart was aching, but he knew this was the only way out. The time formation disc kept running, but Yi Mo picked up Chu Xiaoyi's storage ring and looked at the 9-chip key. It was exactly the same as the one he got before. The only difference was it was in much better shape. It was a pity he used the other one, or he would be able to compare the two. He got the 9-chip key and suddenly thought of that Shui Yufeng. He cursed Chu for not keeping the promise. That person was probably Chu Xiaoyi. He thought that it was Chu Jiyu, but now it seemed he was wrong. If the person who sealed the formation was really Chu Xiaoyi, then it was easy to explain why he never went back. Chu Xiaoyi sealed that space-devouring monster. Clearly he was a cultivator with morals. Yet someone like that died here. It made Yi Mo feel sad. In his death, Chu Xiaoyi realized that this place was a trap. It tricked prodigies in here to kill them. Yi Mo realized that his feeling wasn't wrong before. This place indeed intentionally misled the cultivators here. Even if it wasn't a prodigy and he left before the 28th domain, he wouldn't be able to get a real understanding of domain. This place for killing human prodigies clearly wasn't set up by human cultivators. Yi Mo shook his head and placed the 9-chip fork on the side before looking at the other things in the storage ring. There were very few spirit stones, but there were some spirit crystals. They were all high level. However, all the pills and spirit herbs had turned gray. There were some cultivation artifacts. Chu Xiaoyi had so many immortal crystals and used them to seal another terrifying being. Yet he really didn't have much in his storage ring. There was a pure white jade box on the side. Yi Mo saw half a necklace. It was just a low-grade spirit artifact, but it was the best kept. Yi Mo immediately knew that this necklace must have had a special meaning to Chu Xiaoyi. Yi Mo didn't touch it and sealed the jade box. Yi Mo had decided to bring back Chu Xiaoyi's remains when he came out back to the North Far State. Chu Xiaoyi's last words put North Far State at the front. Clearly, he wanted to go back there. There was such a powerful cultivator in the history of North Far State, but he had never heard of him. Yi Mo shook his head and carefully put away Chu Xiaoyi's storage ring. He didn't touch anything else inside. He took the 7 immortal crystals to save his life, but as for other things, Yi Mo wasn't going to take them even if there were immortal crystals. He took Chu Xiaoyi's remains and put the storage ring back on his finger again. Yi Mo had a deep respect for Chu Xiaoyi, who sealed off the space-devouring demon. In the remaining time, Yi Mo didn't cultivate but watched the time carefully. A month passed quickly in cultivation, but it was passing very slowly watching the timer. No matter how slow, Yi Mo didn't dare to get distracted at all. He only had one chance. At the beginning of the 31st day, Yi Mo took out formation flags, watching the surveillance formation constantly. He would stop the time formation disc immediately on the 31st day. Just when it was time, Yi Mo suddenly paused. He found that his time formation disc stopped running. He didn't even throw out his formation flags. What was going on? The next moment, Yi Mo saw the 7 immortal crystals in the time formation disc turn to dust. The immortal crystals were gone. Yi Mo's mouth was bitter. 7 immortal crystals. He wasted them all on the time formation disc, which he didn't even use to cultivate. Yi Mo hated the guy who set this domain up. He would kill that bastard if he could. Yi Mo didn't even dare to calculate how much time was left, as he was scared that the time would pass the moment he was calculating. Yi Mo didn't even blink his eyes and looked at the space kill formation. He was holding tens of formation flags tightly in one hand while his other hand held Zisu. 1 day passed, but nothing moved. 2 days, 3 days, 11 days, still nothing. On the 12th day, Yi Mo's eyes were sore. Not blinking and staring at one place for 12 days, that was uncomfortable even for disaster, transformation state cultivators. Just when Yi Mo was considering whether he should calculate the time, he saw the space kill formation seem to pause for a moment. Without hesitation, Yi Mo dashed out of the Golden Page world. Yi Mo dashed out immediately. He was ready to go back to the Golden Page world instantly if he was going to get killed. Getting injured was better than losing his life. Yi Mo dashed out immediately. He was ready to go back to the Golden Page world instantly if he was going to get killed. Getting injured was better than losing his life. The moment Yi Mo dashed out, he knew he succeeded. There were no space attacks other than the space binding and pressure. The terrifying death beams didn't move. It meant his judgment was right. The greatest threat, the space kill formation, didn't move during the exchange of spirit power. For Yi Mo, it was fine as long as the space kill formation didn't move. His domain was in great completion, so the space pressure and distortion didn't stop him at all. He expanded his domain out, and they all dissipated like clouds. Yi Mo instantly threw out tens of formation flags when he left the Golden Page world and released Zisu. A purple shadow sliced across the air into the formation heart. At the same time, tens of lightning swords hit the same place. He threw out formation flags to delay the space kill formation. The goal was to buy him some extra time. Rumble, 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 rumble. Zisu hacked the formation heart, and there was a huge explosion. Before the crack could self-repair, the arm-sized lightning swords landed on the formation heart. Before the rumbling sound died down, Yi Mo rained down tens more lightning swords. Soon, the formation heart turned to dust. Hearing a crack, Yi Mo knew the spirit power supply had finished rotating. But so what? He had already broken the formation heart of the space kill formation. There were just simulated space distortions here, while the space death rays and ripples started to dissipate. Yi Mo wiped the sweat from his head. He didn't expect the formation heart to be this tough, even without defenses. If he didn't use the lightning sword for assurance, the power supply exchange would have finished before he broke the formation heart. If this was really the case, then he would have to run back to the Golden Page world. Luckily, he was very careful and completely disintegrated the formation heart to dust. However, there were still many formation hearts in the bottom of the pond, including formation, binding, domain simulation. Yi Mo didn't touch the attack formations from 28th to 36th domain. He took out a jade box and put Chu Xiaoyi's remains inside and left it in the Golden Page world. After doing this, Yi Mo saw a broken shard below Chu Xiaoyi. He probably used this to block the space kill formation before, but now it was torn to pieces. Yi Mo stood at the pond and looked coldly at all the formation hearts inside. With his formation skills, he could completely remove them all, but Yi Mo didn't do this. He wanted to do it the most satisfying way, using lightning sword. Rumble, rumble, rumble black, lightning landed inside the pond non-stop. Moments later, the air above the pond was covered in black lightning swords. The more lightning swords Yi Mo used, the more he felt satisfied. The most respectful way for a formation grandmaster to break another formation grandmaster's formation was to use his own formation skills without damaging the formation. The most coarse way was to damage it with attacking means, making the formation unable to work. The most insulting way was to smash the formation to pieces. Yi Mo was doing this the most insulting way. He didn't look at the formation heart and just sent lightning sword down. He even let out a recording crystal, recording the whole process. He knew it was hard to meet the guy who set the formations up, but if he did, he would show him this crystal ball. As he smashed the formation at the bottom of the pond to pieces, the space distortions and domain also disappeared. Eventually, this area of space turned into an ordinary place. But even so, Yi Mo kept using lightning sword until he blasted the bottom of the pond to pieces. There wasn't even half a formation flag left before Yi Mo stopped to breathe. Now, the first 27 domains weren't damaged, but starting from 28th domain, there was nothing left. Even so, Yi Mo didn't stop here. He shot out tens of formation flags, and 15 minutes later, Yi Mo pulled out a huge spirit range from under the ground. This was an extreme grade spirit range. Another 15 minutes later, he pulled out another spirit range. After putting 2 extreme grade spirit range into his Golden Page world, Yi Mo finally felt comfortable. Now he stopped that recording crystal. Just thinking about how angry this cultivator would be when he saw the crystal ball, Yi Mo felt very good. Yi Mo went back to the intersection between 36th and 37th domain. The 36th domain appeared again, but Yi Mo wasn't teleported out. He came to the 35th domain. This place became an ordinary place. Yi Mo knew he had to go back to the 27th domain to be teleported out. Yi Mo lost the interest to find the first 27 domain space formations. It misled cultivators, but was still a trial place. He didn't need to damage it. Not everyone could learn domain. Sometimes using cultivation essence to form domain wasn't necessarily bad. In the Observer Palace, Su Jingwen had cried a few times already. Yi Mo had disappeared for nearly 2 months. If she couldn't wait for Yi Mo to appear, she would rather die here than be in the hands of Shizhong Merchant Association. Su Jingwen was planning to wait a full year, but in just 2 months, the Observer Palace told Su Jingwen and them that they had to leave. The reason was simple. In case someone else was to reach 28th domain, there were too few rooms, so they needed to reorganize and build more rooms. Their rooms need to be rebuilt, so they had to leave here. Impossible. Hearing this news, Yan Yan was furious. Observer Palace has been here for a few hundred years, but it has never been replanned. How come we've just come here for 3 months and it's being replanned? It must be due to the Shizhong Merchant Association. Tang Mengrao frowned. The Observer Palace clearly isn't weaker than Shizhong Merchant Association. Why would they be afraid of them? Su Jingwen had calmed down from her sadness of Yi Mo's disappearance. She hadn't been in the cultivation realm for long, but in Ninghai City, She was managing a big corporation and knew of the battles. She felt the Observer Palace didn't need to ruin their reputation for the Shizhong Merchant Association. She thought for a moment and asked, was it the Observer Palace who hosted the betting? Chapter 1299. What do you dare to do? Chapter 1299. What do you dare to do? Yan Yan still didn't react, but hearing Su Jingwen ask this, she subconsciously answered, yes, these big stakes are usually held by the Observer Palace itself. Yan Yan immediately said in shock, Sister Jingwen, you're saying we won too many spirit stones from them, and thus they? Su Jingwen nodded. It should be right. When Yi-Mo was at the 27th domain, the stakes were 1 to 100 for Yi-Mo getting into the 36th domain. I'm sure we're the only people who bet Yi-Mo would be able to get in. Did they lower the odds when Yi-Mo went into the 28th domain? Yu Chan quickly said, yes, Sister Jingwen, as soon as Marshal Uncle Yi went into the 28th domain, the odds dropped to 1 to 8. Su Jingwen nodded. We bet the 1 to 100, and I bet 10 million top-grade spirit stones. If they paid us, they would have to pay 1 billion spirit stones. No matter how big the Merchant Association, it would hurt them greatly. This would be half or even more of their assets. Tang Mengrao nodded. That should be it. If we leave the Observer Palace, the Shizhong Merchant Association wouldn't let us go, and Jingwen won't be able to live to see another day. There is no way the Observer Palace will pay us the spirit stones. No reputation is worth 1 billion spirit stones. Then what should we do? Yu Chan held the 2 betting cards. These 2 cards had never left her hand. Su Jingwen frowned. It was death to go out, but they had to do so. That city Lord Luo Yujin just casually helped them. He couldn't be helping all the time. They could only rely on themselves now. Suddenly, there was a wave of laughter outside the palace. Palace Lord Yu wants to rebuild the Observer Palace. The Shizhong Merchant Association decides to support with 3 million spirit stones. The girl in the first room is not bad, ha ha ha. There was a soft voice. Thank you, Association Leader Meng. The rest of the things has nothing to do with the Observer Palace. We need to rearrange this place. It has nothing to do with you. Association Leader Meng, I won't be staying for long. No problem, haha. Meng Sha didn't seem annoyed at all. When Yi-Mo came to the 27th domain, he felt his body become lighter. He looked up and he was already at the place he came in the domains from. The girl who stayed at the Observer Palace is in trouble now. There's no way Association Leader Meng will let her go. One body condensation state didn't even finish his sentence, and he stopped because he saw Yi-Mo, who suddenly appeared. Then he stuttered, Chen Bei, you're fine. Yi-Mo frowned and said coldly, Don't give me bullshit. What did you mean? The other body condensation state was also shocked, but smarter. He quickly bowed and said, Bei, after you went into the 36th domain, your disappeared. Then people outside said you died, so that Meng Sha is going to look for trouble with your wife. He tried, but was stopped by Vice City Lord Luo. Now, the Observer Palace is going to be reorganized, so they requested your family and friends to leave within a time or they would be kicked out. Before he finished, Yi-Mo had disappeared. This body condensation state wiped his head before looking around carefully. Shizhong Merchant Association is finished. Meng Sha is done for Observer Palace. The first body condensation state reacted quicker this time and quickly pulled the other body condensation state, Cultivator. Let's go quickly and watch the truth realization state battle. Then he ran off first. In the Observer Palace, Palace Lord Yu stood at the door and said to Su Jingwen and them coldly, the Observer Palace is going to be reorganized. Everyone else has left. You have half an hour. If you don't leave, I will forcefully send you away. What right do you have to tell us to go? I paid spirit stones. This room has no time restriction. Su Jingwen said coldly. Palace, Lord Yu said in contempt. There are no more cultivators in the heaven domains. You're staying here to hide from your enemies. Do we have to wait for you to be done with hiding before we reorganize our palace? You have to leave no matter what. Yu Zhongtong. Don't have time to talk with irrelevant people. You have 15 minutes left. This time, before Su Jingwen could speak, an icy cold voice sounded. What if I don't want to go? What do you dare to do? Yu Zhongtong turned around to see the cold-faced Yi Mo. He had never seen Yi Mo before, but Yi Mo came here silently without him noticing at all. But Meng Sha was dazed and asked in shock, You're not dead! He felt his mind go blank. Yi Mo wasn't dead. What was going on? If Yi Mo wasn't dead, it meant he had to die. He brought this on himself. The first time Yi Mo didn't kill him, but yet he had to cause trouble again. Yi Mo. Su Jingwen flew into Yi Mo's arms as soon as she saw him. The helplessness disappeared. Woo-woo! I knew you were fine. I knew it! Tears flew out of her eyes uncontrollably. If possible. She really didn't want Yi Mo to go those dangerous places, but Su Jingwen knew that it was impossible. Only powerful people could talk and survive in the cultivation realm. Yi Mo thought of the moment when Su Jingwen first invited him to dinner. At that time, he had never thought Su Jingwen would cry. But ever since she came with him, this wasn't the first time he saw her like this. It was that time that Su Jingwen said to him, I'm older than you. You can call me Sister Jingwen. Sister Jingwen. Yi Mo called out, feeling warm in his heart. Su Jingwen was dazed and immediately thought of the same memory. Yi Mo knew how she was feeling and patted her back, staring, and then stared coldly at Meng Sha, who tried to leave. You want to go? Meng Sha shivered and quickly saluted with his fists. Yi Qianbei, it was a misunderstanding. I was coming back to explain to you. You knew I would come out. Yi Mo's voice grew colder. Su Jingwen felt Yi Mo's killing intent and came out of his arms, silently walking behind him. She detested this Meng Sha from the bottom of her heart. Brother Yi. Yan Jingxin and them walked out of the room too. They knew they were saved now that Yi Mo was here. Yi Mo looked at Yan Jingxin's shoulder and asked, What's this? Meng Sha said before Yan Jingxin could. My Shizhong merchant associations, people had a conflict with him. They accidentally hurt his shoulder. I came to apologize. I didn't expect. Yi Qianbei is fortunate to be fine. This is great. Su Jingwen looked at Meng Sha in contempt and said, Yi Mo, kill him. Su Jingwen rarely had any killing intent and would never ask Yi Mo to kill someone. But Meng Sha insulted her. She knew if Yi Mo didn't come out, she would be in a situation worse than death at his hands. Meng Sha shivered and pulled out the crescent blade. He knew that it was impossible to escape from Yi Mo. Finally, Yu Zhongtong realized that this young man was the person he was trying to kick away, the cultivator who went into the 36th domain. His face began to spasm when he saw he couldn't see Yi Mo's power level at all. He began to regret now he shouldn't have cooperated with Meng Sha. At this time, Meng Sha suddenly said, Palace Lord Yu, we're on the same side now. If I die, you won't be doing very well either. The best thing is to join forces. Chapter 1300. Kill Truth, Realization State. Chapter 1300. Kill Truth, Realization State, Yu Zhongtong thought. He was Truth Realization State Level 6, and Meng Sha was Truth Realization State Level 3. If they joined forces, Yi Mo might really have some concern. However, he immediately saw the scorn in Yi Mo's eyes and was shook. He felt Yi Mo heard the sound transmission between the two. So Yu Zhongtong didn't dare to move. This young cultivator definitely was a Truth Realization State, peak stage, being to be able to hear Truth Realization State sound transmission. In fact, Yi Mo would be quite concerned if Meng Sha and Yu Zhongtong joined forces. He wasn't by himself. Even if he was, there would be quite some pressure to face a Truth Realization State primary stage, and middle stage cultivator. While Yu Zhongtong was hesitating, Yi Mo hacked out with Zisu and Illusion, Cloud Formation Kill Strike without hesitation. Meng Sha knew Yi Mo's power and took things seriously. Before Yi Mo even attacked, he used Crescent Blade to send over a dense clutter of red killing rays towards Yi Mo. With Meng Sha's full-powered attack, the force of the Crescent Blade seemed dominating. The red killing rays came in waves. Even Yu Zhongtong was shook. He was prepared that if Meng Sha could hold on, he would attack Yi Mo as well. But if Meng Sha couldn't stand off at all, he wouldn't move at all. Meng Sha also used a low-grade cultivation artifact shield on the side. He thought that even if Yi Mo was truth realization state peak stage, the killing ray of the Crescent Blade would make Yi Mo concerned or retreat a little. Then, during that time, he would risk getting injured to capture Su Jingwen. If he had no hostage, he would be killed by Yi Mo for sure. But soon, Meng Sha felt something was wrong. He released his shield, but it floated slow like a feather in the sky. The next moment, he felt his domain crumple, and when he could react, he was completely in Yi Mo's domain. He seemed to be swallowed by a swamp and couldn't move much. That heaven covering purple ray swept over, and Meng Sha was shook. If this continued, he would be instantly disintegrated. Meng Sha burned his essence blood, like crazy wanting to escape from Yi Mo's domain. He was certain he had never seen a domain this powerful. This wasn't great completion, this was beyond it. Thud, thud, thud. Yu Zhongtong just realized that Meng Sha's crescent blade and the red beams clashed on an octagonal cauldron that appeared above Yi Mo's head. It couldn't hurt Yi Mo at all. The first time Yi Mo fought Meng Sha, Yi Mo didn't even use the octagonal cauldron and completely defeated Meng Sha. Now that he was disaster, transformation state, tertiary stage, and his domain was in great completion, he used the octagonal cauldron instead. This wasn't to say he grew weaker, but this fight was completely different. Last time, Meng Sha didn't take Yi Mo seriously at all and didn't use his full power. It was normal he was almost killed by Yi Mo. This time, Meng Sha treated Yi Mo as someone more powerful than him and that used his full power. Yi Mo still chose to use the octagonal cauldron against a full-powered truth realization state, level 3. The difference between a disaster, transformation state, and truth realization state was huge. Only an absurd cultivator like Yi Mo could ignore the difference. Meng Sha barely broke free from Yi Mo's domain, but was swept away by countless purple sword rays. The shield was smacked away by the purple ray. Illusion, cloud formation, kill, strike had formed. No matter how powerful Meng Sha was, there was no going back. With a splurge, blood arrows shot into the air. Meng Sha watched his body get devoured by the killing rays, and when it ravaged his body, he suddenly realized and looked at Yi Mo with extreme shock. You're a disaster. How could Yi Mo let him say disaster transformation state? Zisu spun, and Meng Sha's essence spirit was killed. Yi Mo waved, and a storage ring disappeared into his hands. This was the first time he killed a truth realization state cultivator head-on. Even if he wasn't a truth realization state cultivator, he was at the peak of Luo Yu cultivation world now. Yu Zhongtong looked dazedly at the bloody mist Meng Sha had become. Meng Sha had never been afraid of anyone in the heaven domains. He was on good terms with the Xing Cultivator Association leader, so even the Vice City Lord paid his respects to him. Yet this guy was killed in a few moves. This was too scary. This absurdly young cultivator killed Meng Sha so easily. Just who was he? Yi Mo looked at Yu Zhongtong calmly and said, "Palace Lord Yu, the big hotel abuses the clients. I seem to see that your extreme-grade luxury room has no time limit. How come I just went out for a spin and you're kicking people away? Are you full of shit, or is the Observer Palace full of shit?" Yu Zhongtong shivered and remembered that he also offended Yi Mo. With Yi Mo's display of power, he was done for if no one helped him. Yu Zhongtong couldn't control himself sweating. Why did he offend someone like this? If someone else dared to say he was bullshitting, he would have crushed that person to pulp, but he didn't even dare to argue back to Yi Mo. However, he knew he had to answer back to Yi Mo, so he saluted with his fists respectfully and said, Yi Qianbei, Wan Bei was too rude to chose this time to reorganize the Observer Palace. But it was due to Qianbei being too amazing before you went into the 36th domain. This squeezed up the Observer Palace. It's my bad this time. Please forgive me. The Observer Palace is willing to compensate Yi Qianbei's losses. Yi Mo was furious, but he didn't plan on killing Yu Zhongtong. Even if he killed Yu Zhongtong now, it wouldn't change the fact that the cultivation realm was survival of the fittest. Plus, Yu Zhongtong was a truth realization state middle stage master. This was very rare no matter where. He killed Meng Sha already. If he killed Yu Zhongtong, it might make the West Cultivator City unhappy. Just when Yi Mo was planning to make Yu Zhongtong compensate, Yu Chan suddenly said, Marshal Uncle Yi, the Observer Palace owed us more than 1 billion spirit stones, but they still haven't given them to us now. I suspect that they want to kick us out so they can keep the spirit stones and let the Shizhong Merchant Association annihilate us. Yu Zhongtong's face looked bad upon hearing this. He knew that he had successfully aroused the killing intent of Yi Mo. Yu Chan explained. Sister Jingwen bet 10 million spirit stones on you getting into the 36th domain when the odds were 1 to 100. Now, not only did they not pay us what we won, we didn't even get our original money back. Is that so? Yi Mo's killing intent surged again. Yu Zhongtong felt he was like a shaky boat in a blizzard under such intense killing intent. Qianbei, please calm down. Wan Bei didn't intend to take the spirit stones. Wan Bei was planning to give them the spirit stones after they came out. Yu Zhongtong quickly said, seeing that Yi Mo was about to attack. He knew that if Yi Mo attacked, it would be fast like lightning and never ending like rain. Yi Mo knew Yu Zhongtong was lying, so he sneered and released Zisu. Yi Qianbei, please hold up. West Cultivator Cities, Luo, Jinyu greets, Yi Qianbei. Someone quickly dashed here. He wasn't tall and looked a little scholarly. Seeing this, Yi Mo didn't dare to be rude and also saluted with his fists. City Lord Luo, I don't dare to be called Qianbei. Just call me Yi Mo. Yi Mo was very grateful to this Luo Yujin. He heard that this Luo Yujin saved Su Jingwen and them the first time. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.